Welcome to the Clash Masters Gold Edition, sponsored by Rush.gg. And we are in the final day of Qualifiers 3. Very excited for it. I'm Lady B, of course, joined by Itsu. How are you doing today, Itsu?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's a wonderful day on the outside, so a good day for clashing, I think. So let's dive into the format, into how this tournament is structured, to make sure that every single viewer out there knows what those teams are in for. So we have 3 weeks of competition, which we are in at the moment. We are in the 3rd week, which means every single week we have one qualifier. Those qualifiers are single elimination tournaments, and only those top 8 teams of every single week are getting qualification points. Those points are then again important to get later on into the important stages of the tournament and into the playoffs. And well, today is the day. Today is the last qualifier, which means those teams are fighting for the last couple of points, and we already discussed it before the stream. There is so many possible cases with teams getting bumped out of playoff spots, getting somehow into playoff spots. So we're going to be in for a lot of action, but not only and obviously with the SEQ format as well, what the teams are fighting for and having another chance as well then for getting into further stages. But let it be, all of this is obviously for a lot of prize money.
Yeah, but just a quick little brief overview on the play-in stages. We have the bracket stage. Now, 5th through 8th will wind up getting the opportunity for the play-in stage, which is why there's some important matches, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's the bracket stage, if you don't get in, that you have the opportunity in the last chance qualifiers. But the play-in stage lineup is important because you have a schoolyard pick of who you get to face off from the top 4 who win in the bracket stage. But let's indeed look at the prize pool and see what we have on the line. This is a $50,000 prize pool tournament. Now, there are prize pools for each and every qualifier. First place walking away with the lion's share of $2,500, but 5th and 8th don't go away empty-handed. They do walk away with $400. The LCQs also, you will receive prize pool money if you place first through 8th, but 1st and 4th place will wind up with $500. 5th and 8th will receive $250. But for the playoffs, this is where we see the bigger chunk of the money and the most important coveted thing, Itsu, and that is the golden ticket. Now, yes, the $10,000 is amazing, but you want that opportunity to get into the World Championships, and this is one of your ways to do it.
That's right. And obviously the golden ticket is not only giving you a guaranteed seed in the top 8, like in the Clash of Clans World Championship, but if you take a look at the last couple of years, you know already, this means that you're already guaranteed into another prize pool, which is a ton of money as well. So the golden ticket is what all of those teams are chasing for, but I think we should take a look at the bracket to see which teams are still in it, which teams were able to survive the day yesterday, and take a look at that, Lady B. This lineup today is just stacked. Batang versus MS Esports, Queen Walkers, Stephanie versus Cutie Fan. Those matches today are going to be crazy.
They are. This is really exciting because we have 3 of the 4 teams that actually are in the top 4 position here. So that's what makes this very, very interesting of what's going to happen. This is actually all circulating around MS Esports, mainly of what can happen to certain teams like Black Magic, if they would wind up in the play-ins, Lakode Bushido. So we can take a look at the leaderboard, but MS Esports is really going to be one of the matches to watch, because if they place, if they wind up first, and they're going to wind up having to they're going to wind up tying between Black Magic, and that would force a position for the 4th seed, which would bump one of them down and push another player like Lakode Bushido down. Now, if MS Esports winds up in 4th place, there's a tie between MS Esports and Lakode Bushido on points, and in that scenario, that actually changes it so that Lakode Bushido would knock out if they don't win, and MS Esports can knock out. So there's a lot of different situations as well, but those are 2 of the most important ones as far as what's going to make a difference for the playoffs and getting into that, or the play-in. So there's some big difference makers here today, Itsu.
Yeah, it's so crazy that you can like push the numbers around so much, and like this is important match, like not only obviously for the teams who are in this specific match, but like overall for the entire leaderboard, because there can be so many things shifted around. So I think we should not wait for too long. We should just dive into the first roster setups for our first two teams. We have the Tang versus MS Esports. I mean, we know those names, right? Like the Tang coming in with Lens Loader, PSW, Warning, Sincera, Prayer, and Raylo. And they have to face MS Esports, who are on a crazy high at the moment as well.
Yeah, MSC Sports, we've seen some great wars from yesterday. We've seen them doing crazy work, but Nachoa, Ella, Kingsman, Ariam, and of course Synthe, you know, they were looking like they could go in with a perfect war. We saw a lot of high scoring wars, a lot of 14 stars. I think it was Cutie Fen, if I'm not mistaken, that came in with a 13-star war. That was the lowest one that we had. Yes. So these teams today are really going to have to battle it out. And I would ask you, as a former pro player, where do you think these teams need to target?
It's hard to say. I feel like just concentrate on your own game. I mean, those teams are here for a reason, and just do what they can do best, and that's 3-star in bases, I think. So let's see how the MVP of the week number 2 for the Tang can actually attack this base. With his Dragons and Dragon Riders, he is in early with a huge push and some loons around that tunnel compartment. Take a look at that. All of those expos gone. In addition to that, the tunnel as well, and those expos which survive have pretty much 0 hit points.
Yeah, which makes a big difference here. He's got a nice formula going on, movement going into the base. When you're working with any drag style attack, whether it be the Hydra, super drags, E-drags, you want to force these dragons into the center of the base while your heroes are working around the outside edge where everything is reachable for them. This is also limiting the damage coming into them and allowing them to reserve their abilities. As you can see, the king has taken the brunt of the force for the queen, so she's able to reserve the ability for the back end. And the royal champ, as we see here at the 6 o'clock corner, able to take on some of those heavy hitting areas. Nice, fresh, clean, and helping up. And this is absolutely smashed through. But we know Sincere Prayer is a huge drag attacker. He's known for the fastest speed. I don't know what it is now. Yesterday we saw the MVP stats, and then he came in and beat his record, which was like 1 minute and 30. Was it 1 minute and 34 seconds that he came in with the E-drag attack?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that he nearly beat his time from yesterday. Yesterday he had like 1 minute and 30 seconds, right? Like on the dot, yeah. Pretty much. Today he was a little bit slower. I mean, that was already pretty bad for him, I think. No, but kidding. Like, he had in the week number 2 for his MVP performance, he had 1 minute and 43 seconds as an average time. Yeah. That's damn quick. That's really quick. Yesterday he used the Electro Dragons. Today he is coming in with the Dragons and Dragon Riders. Really nice attack, starting things off forward tank, and that's always so impressive. I feel like, yes, those guys with Queen Charge Loud and everything, it's impressive, it's cool to watch and everything, but I feel like as well those people who are always starting in first, giving this time for the Queen Charge Loud attackers, adjust their army, try around, make sure that they're actually having everything set up and taking the time to plan out the Queen Charge or plan out the Queen pathing, which is already sometimes a crazy thing you have to try to do. And well, those guys are just coming in with their favorite strategies with the dragons most of the time and just always claiming this first attack, and he's so consistent with that. I don't think I haven't seen him fail so far in those ClashMaster qualifiers, so he is a really strong carry for his team and always relying on those early hits and giving so much time for his team.
Yeah, and I think, you know, being able to start off that way, we've talked about this with the super drag attacks. One of the reasons why we often tend to see super drags as those start off hits before the nerf is because it's really easy to plan, and it gives your team the rest of the time to actually go in with the remainder of the plans, especially when you can identify those bases so quickly. It's almost like not a one and you're done, but you just know exactly how you're going in about it. There's several different ways, but you're going to see it with the layout, and these players that can do that are a huge success for their teams to give them more time to focus, which I think is huge. And they often know that they're going to get that 3-star start. So that's really important. But this is going to put a little bit of pressure coming on to MS Esports, who is in a I don't want to say they're in a predicament, but everything's circulating around them. There's like so much circulating around MSE Sports that we do need to keep an eye, because they determine not only their own fate, but the fate of some other teams in the mix between going into the play-ins or playoffs. Or even actually getting booted out. So.
I mean, you have talked about it in the beginning, right? Like, if they get the first seed, then they have to play a tiebreaker match to get into the playoffs. So they still have this potential of actually knocking a team out of the playoff spot. So a lot of power in their hands, not only about the faith for themselves, but for some of the other teams. And we have Ariam starting things off with the Blizzard Lalo, but coming in with the double eye sound, which is interesting to see. So let's take a look at the positioning of those air defenses, because this is what you try to take a look at with the Tesla form as well for this King, which means it's a lot of damage on that King, but at the same time, I mean, I don't mind having the Tesla out of the way early. And if we take a look at those air defense positionings, we can see on the far left side, it is around that scatter shot, maybe even the Royal Champion with the freeze of the eye sound, and then at the bottom side, maybe even the Eagle. So those eye sounds for sure have a great possible value. So let's see if that's going to be the case and how much value actually his heroes are going to take out.
Yeah, like between that multi-Royal Champ Wizard Tower area would be absolutely phenomenal. And you see a lot of players that really are able to predict exactly where it's going to go. But for now, we still need to get through the CC. He does not have a poison for these minions, which makes it a little bit tough because he dropped it a little bit earlier for the other troops. So Queen's taking on some damage here, but does still reserve her ability so she can at least pick up that splash on the back end, which is huge. And we do start off with the Royal Champion actually working alongside the Snowlow. Ice Hound's kicking in, and exactly where we want to see that is coming in for the multis. But we've got the Air Sweeper to worry about, so the Royal Champ really needs to hurry up and knock that out and limit the resistance.
Yeah, and so far no eye sound pop. Now the eye sounds are trying to make their way to the other side. The first eye sound only, the freeze value was not the best, but still a lot of freezes now on his own coming in for the back end multi-inferno tower. But those loon splits are looking so clean. The loons going for that multi-inferno tower. And here's just so many special stuff. This is so freaking crushed. The hero dive with the blizzard in the beginning looked just beautiful. Ariam is finishing things off with the crazy Lalo. And as you said, the snow Lalo right there is with the ice pops. It's crazy. And this is going to be another 3-star. Both teams are starting off strong.
I mean, if this doesn't convince everyone out there why they should be using these Ice Hounds and at least trying them out, I don't know what's going to convince you. But what's interesting to see is actually Ariam coming in with the first attack. We often see him as the final hitter. So it looks like they're coming in aggressively into this war, saying they want to put in the power push. But it does mean, like, who are they going to finish up with? They know that they have that first quick hit that came through from Sincere Prayer. I think they're a little bit worried about Vateng in this situation. What would you say is the reason to go in with Ariam first?
I feel like a lot of those players at the moment are always using just their main strategy. So, for example, Ariam, the Blizzard Lalo. So I feel like he was just the first one already with this plan, and then we saw them quite flexible overall with their attack positioning. Like, we have seen Thinty, for example, quite a lot of times attacking a last for them. So then at the same time, he was sometimes the starter for his team. So everything getting mixed around for them, and I feel like that is as well an approach we've seen that with other teams as well. Like, they're not as predictable in their attack order, but some teams really love it. For example, Queen Walkers. I mean, we are going to see them later on, who are always sticking to their attack order, and they have success with it. So there is no right or wrong answer about this. I feel like there's just like different understandings of how things should get handled, I guess, as a team. And every team has to go with what is working best for them. For example, if we're taking a look at the other side with Vateng, their attack order is typically always the same thing, with Raylo coming in second. We have Sincere Prayer already coming in with the first attack. We have missed in the beginning some lightnings, but if we take a look at the left side, we can see that he took down the X-Bow and the Bomb Tower and Scatter Shot. That's what it looks like. So getting some great value in the beginning, but now he has to get probably all the way to the town. At least that's how it feels like what the plan is, with the Warbreaker then connecting to that, what is it? The Bitter Hut, the Bitter Hut worker right there.
Yeah, that's going to give him full access coming in, but he does need to ensure that he creates even more of a path so that the Queen actually takes the bait coming inside. For now, hold up. We've got the wall wrecker coming in, and this is actually going to protect the king. I'm curious to see what we've got coming through. I like the use of the super wall breakers to actually give it full passage. Is this heading straight in for the town hall itself? It still has a single, but he's got 2 freezes he can use. Queen's going to make her way because the king is helping work this along, and he did a great job funneling down at that 730 side of the base. So they walked straight through, help out, and trying to see what we've got coming out. It sounds like some sneaky goblins through, so this gives a huge, oh no, Yetis. We've got those Yetis coming through, which actually gives a huge amount of power to help with the scatter shot, a little bit of damage, and the queen should be able to finish it off with her ability.
That is just so much value with the zero dive, but the scatter shot not falling is unfortunate. The vulnerability already had to be used as well. At this point, there's no more spells left. The defending queen is getting taken down, but that scatter shot with the export, the combination, is obliterating. And as well, the warden getting taken down behind those loons, and Rayload looked so good. I am not sure why he invested this ram. I feel like it was a huge overkill to take that ram into the town hall. You have seen the king got no value out of his ability because he had to run into this town hall poison. Not even the scatter shot was falling to that queen. So I feel like huge overcommitment with that siege machine right there, because if you consider using that siege for the back end like a blimp or even a slammer, this would have been a nice and easy 3-star, but instead the base is defending, and we see again the success with those anti-2-star bases. I'm really still surprised that we have not seen them more yesterday, but instead today, now already the first defense on this base from Cynthia, and Raido is having some problems with the heroes not taking a lot of, like, not enough value overall.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised because I think that's more about timing, wouldn't you say? If the round had come in a tad bit earlier, he could have allowed it to go in, take down the town hall, and then just let the heroes work through right afterwards. And the queen could have had maybe more opportunity and tank had that gone down. So, you know, maybe just a small lapse in the call there on the timing, which is always, I guess, the hardest part of it. But he does wind up with a very nice percentage. It does put them in a decent position. This would require MS Esports to, what did that wind up, a 96%? So overall, not so bad. Oh, 92%. So overall, not so bad. That does force MS Esports to either triple or have to come in with a 93% or higher. So when you wind up in that 90% range, it does make it a little difficult to have to not fail. Like we saw 14-star wars yesterday, we didn't see a full clean run. So the pressure is on MS Esports for sure.
Yeah, as I said, like, we have not seen the 15 stars so far in this qualifier, at least in the broadcast. And this means that even with this possible 14 stars for Vatang at this point, with this one fail, MS Esports can still fail as well. Like, that's everything still possible. And we now have Ilek coming in with those super witches. That's an interesting choice. We see them from time to time, and it's pretty crazy how much power they sometimes feel to have. So let's see how this is going to work out for him with those super witches down from this far left side, and then he seems to have like one jump only with him, but maybe he's going to switch to the lockdown, or he's going to blimp that town hall with only jumping then into the scatter compartment. Let's see how that's going to work. Let's see how that's going to play out. And he's about to engage versus that king with the queen. It seems like not going to go inside, so let's see how that's going to play out with the lockdown now getting placed as well.
Yeah, the king will help set this along. I like the use of these skellies. We're seeing this more and more to help tank for heroes in very heavily saturated defensive areas, but also great when you have these Tesla farms. It is going to limit a little bit, but it will give the king just a tad bit more power to get that royal champion to clear out the scatter shot. Ideally, we'd want her first slightly further down on the back end of the base, but as long as we get the main push of those super witches and the queen straight through the core, he's in a good position. And we do, of course, have that backup jump in case we don't get the whole wall open. And I think he actually did. So this allows him to push his way through into the multi-area where he can easily work his way back out. Yetis can come in for the town hall, and we can maybe even see the queen come back out for the scatter shot.
Yeah, and the queen, though, now has to take down that tunnel with that jump. Everything is pushing now into that tunnel compartment. The Royal Champion seems to dance around that Town Hall range, which is key, because as soon as that Royal Champion is now inside the Town Hall Poison, for example, that would be really bad news. And that Today's Trap is actually rotating the Royal Champion into the Town Hall Poison. The Royal Champion ability is getting forced. That Royal Champion would have been so important, getting this push into the backhand, getting this push into the defending scatter shot. Now everything is relying on those witches with those healers, but the queen is not protected at the moment. Those witches need to hurry up and push and help that queen to push further into this backhand scatter with the time ticking as well. We know it looks like a lot of time, but witches, they are slow, and we know that.
Yeah. But the queen's got the ability. She had the unicorn behind her trying to help with the health, and we've got the yak now taking the lead, takes that front line. Yes, there's some splash that comes in, but it's focused on the yak, giving the queen the opportunity to take this on. As low as those witches are going, they're finally coming through, going for the battle builder hut, and the queen is down, so it's up to the yak to take on that scatter. Can the witches do it? 10 seconds, absolutely. And that's Alec coming in with the 3-star, which does put them now in the lead over Vatang. So one of those scenarios we were talking about that we would look at and we would have another war today is if MS Esports were to wind up in first position. So if they win this round, that is forcing them ever so closer to winding up in that first position. They would still have to face off against either Queen Walkers or Cutie Fen, which will be later on, but it does make for quite an interesting matchup here.
Yeah, that's for sure. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like, yes, we kind of need to highlight that they have the lead at the moment, but I'm still, after yesterday, we have seen so many matches with like 14 stars. So I'm still like, to some degree, still waiting for this one fail at the same time, because I feel like all of those teams always got those 14 stars, with Cutie Fen being the only exception. So let's see how that's going to work. But either way, we have the next attack live, and that's going to be another legend style base run by MS Esports. And we have the next attacker coming in with the Super Dragons actually versus this legend base, and he's bringing even a golem to make this hero dive even stronger, pushing the king inside. But wait a second, the golem is going to be placed for that queen to make her staying alive for a little bit longer, and then the dragons having to come in from this top left side.
Yeah, what I will say is during the qualifiers this week, MSC Sports did not want to be streamed because they did bring they have a lot of new fresh faces. I think that they were holding for this weekend, so they are looking to defend. And I'm wondering if they brought those bases, since we saw that defense already, can they do it again against PSW with the Super Drags? It's very unlikely, because we still know that despite the nerf, the Super Drags go strong, but ooh, Town Hall goes down nicely. He's got a beautiful spread to the side of the Super Dragons to bypass the poison bomb, which is the most important thing. And the heroes are still sitting with their ability, bar the king and Warden, of course. But he's got a lot left over to this. Just needs those drag riders to Super Drags to continue supporting them through.
And I feel like it's such an important thing to take a look at those expos, or more likely at the non-existing expos anymore, because this is giving then the heroes, those heroes, way more power. But now the scatter has to fall. There's the rage now for this Royal Champion. Is he going to be able to take down both scatter shots? So far it looks like a no, with the queen slowly catching up now with those remaining Super Dragons. The Inferno Tower at least is going down, but this king is waiting at this bottom side for that queen, and Royal Champion pushing further and further, but not getting that second scatter shot out of the way.
Yeah, she has at least cleared some of the defenses surrounding. We do have a couple of Super Drags left. I'd love to see how much health they have, because that really does make a difference. Looks like one wants to go right up towards that scatter shot. So once it takes down the storage, and it is half health. So let's see how quickly it can get through those storages and get to the scatter. Hopefully leaning its way. It has just a tiny bit of health. Oh, but it's not going to be... Wait, with the burning effect? Nope. Wasn't able to get in that final blow. But 35 seconds left. If the Super Drag can work on the outside with the Warden, and the queen can kind of sneak her way in, which it doesn't look like. I was going to say, maybe this could get done. I got to tell you, Itsu, I know that you say you doubt that MS Esports could do this and put up maybe like a perfect war, or, you know, that these defenses that we're seeing more, you know, that we weren't seeing as much of necessarily, but they have put a lot into that. Oh snap, the screen ability. Not going to be enough time to beat through the wall and get that done. It's going to be a 99% for PSW. So this is what I was saying. They have their slew of defenses that, you know, they've been trying to keep under wraps, and it seems to be working for them against probably one of the strongest teams in the game.
Yeah, the tank right now is incredibly strong, but one more thing which is surprising me even more after seeing those anti-2-star bases defense so great, that we have not seen them yesterday. That's such a big surprise. We have seen them last weekend as well, defending so many times really well against those teams. And I mean, seeing this, like having the tank already fail 2 attacks early into a match is not something that common. So surprised we have not seen them earlier, or we have not seen them more overall. But now let's see what MS Esports can do, because they can now really put a lot of pressure onto the tank with getting another 3-star on the board right now, which would give them a 2-star lead, which would be huge coming into those last 2 attacks each for both of those teams. And overall, you want to get those points in, and we have talked about it many times. MS Esports can put themselves still into the position to fight for a playoff spot. This is what they're fighting for today in those matches. And we have MS Esports coming in with an Achor, and he is coming in with some Suilalo action onto this base of Landsloda.
Yeah, you know, I think like energy's got to be hyped and high right now for these players, just because the simple fact that they know that they're defending against one of the toughest teams around. So Nachoa working through with the Lalo, but we have to start this off by shaping up the path. We can't just go in with the Lalo and not have a function. So we use the King and Queen to come through a very heavily saturated area defensively, but also houses the CC. So the King provides a little bit of tank, giving the Queen a nice fresh start going in to that CC, where we still have a little incoming damage, but not too much. But I love the log launcher coming in. This 3 o'clock section here, there's so much value that has been cleared out within this, especially with the use of the Royal Champion.
Yeah, this is really looking great, especially now with the Yeti Mice being able to take down this entire Tesla farm. So things are looking really good for him so far. The only thing is that this town hall is surviving up to this point, and he needs to get the 50% mark or get a lucky pub or something, attack that town hall to activate it. At the moment it's at 46%. The town hall is going to be activated. So far, I think, yes, I think something, yeah, I think the pub should have activated it with one of their attacks, but at the moment nothing is going for that town hall. The tornado trap was a huge problem. The Warden Bleach now is in, protecting the Hound as well. Is the Hound going to find a couple of red mines or black mines over there and getting tanked with the Warden ability? But now the heal spell to cover and make sure this town hall poison is not dealing too much damage. But there's just so many loons swarming in the back end of this base.
Yeah, the one thing he has to worry about is that wizard tower, but like you said, all of these loons on the back end, it's not going to pose a threat. And he's got the invisibility spell that he can always drop right in front as they make their way through, but the haste is more than enough to do the job here. Single's not going to be an issue at all. And with 49 seconds, he drops it anyway. I mean, you know, why risk it if you don't have to? And it's night. Look at all those red air traps, but not enough to knock this down. So Nachoa comes in with that 3-star, and we are in the situation of a 2-star lead. Now, I know you don't have the faith that we're going to see the perfect war because we didn't see it yesterday, but with this kind of momentum that they're building, you know, do you feel like when you were playing with Tribe and playing professionally, that the more you came in defensively, that boosted the team morale? Was it easier to get the 3-stars when you knew you were in the lead? Or is it just, you know, is it still nerves regardless?
I think it really depends on where this is coming in. Like if it's during the end of a match where you already won the match, it's more like, okay, let's try something, let's have fun, like YOLO, whatever. If it's early into the match, obviously you still have to concentrate on everything. So that's something you have to always keep in mind, especially at this point. The tank now, if they're 3-star, it's going to be hard, but this is the possibility of coming back, even though it's like the percentage of that being the case is getting lower and lower. But you still need to be careful at the point where you can still lose. But getting later into the attack, or like getting later into the clan war overall into the match, sometimes felt more like, okay, let's try something goofy, or let's try something risky, kind of, where the match is already won. So let's see if MS Esports is really pushing for this perfect, or if they're more like, okay, we have our plans anyways, maybe, so let's see what the case is going to be. But either way, the tank now needs to go 2 out of 2 onto those really annoying looking bases so far. Another anti-2-star base, another setup with this anti-2-star centralized town hall. And we have Queen Charge Lalo this time around, though. Again, the tank is using their, or are using their favorite strategies, and already in the beginning catching a Blackman. That is really unfortunate. Blackman right there in the beginning. Another Blackman in there as well. And that is already a lot of damage on that Queen. With knowing already the attacks of the tank, they kind of can expect what they're coming in with, because we have to remember the tank pretty much always go with their favorite strategies. And we're going to have warning with Queen Charge Lalo, and then let's load it later on with Queen Charge Lalo probably as well.
Yeah, I just first have to say that I cannot believe I heard you say YOLO or whatever, because like I'm so glad Danny's not here, Eve check, because it's you don't YOLO, you Lalo. Okay, let's get that straight. And we do get to see warning coming in with the Queen Charge Lalo, but first, working that Queen towards a town hall. King and Yak need to force her into the core of the space to get to it. There's a lot of incoming damage, but she's going to take on a lot that's going to help the loons surrounding the outside edge, because we have the splash of the scatter shots, the wizard towers, and those multi-targeting infernos, plus the air sweepers are inside here. So this is a massive amount of value to clear out of a base in what we would kind of consider as well, I guess, a damage zone, where you would expect to see some of the traps.
Yeah, I mean, you expect the traps, and he already caught 3 Blackmans on his healers. Like, that is really, really problematic, because this entire charge feels so baited, and now is the Queen even going to get the town hall? Like, so far there's no skeleton traps coming up, but this entire Queen charge is dead at this point. Even the Queen is dying through her ability. So incredible base building again. So many Blackmans in the beginning, and now the Lalo has to engage into 2 scatter shots, even versus a sweeper. He is deciding to freeze the air defense instead of the sweeper, which means the push is even harder, but there's now the red bombs coming in, and things are looking really, really rough at this point. And those bases from MS Esports, oh my goodness, we were always praising the base building team from Rotang, but right there, it's really looking hard for the Lalo to come through, but maybe the power's still enough.
Yeah, we'll see. That multi, though, and he's got no freeze, but the Warden actually one-shots it, which is perfect. What do we have left? The air defense archer tower combination, never a good thing. 25 seconds, a lot of storages. There's not going to be enough time, even if there were the power to do this. I think that's the biggest risk. The Warden, though, runs so slow. With the assist of the Electro Owl, it does speed it up, but the fact that there are storages and the ADs is what really kills this. That AD archer tower combination is deadly, especially when there's wizard tower surrounding, but that alone can really do this in. So it's another time fail, and I can't believe, well, maybe I can believe, knowing that MS Esports really did not want to show their bases, and we're seeing exactly why they wanted to hold back Vatang, and that is exactly what they're doing. This is the 3rd defense for them coming in. This is almost turning into a blowout match, which you would not expect to see.
Yeah, like coming into this match, I kind of thought, okay, this is going to be a really close match. Like, maybe the team who is going to get the 15 stars are going to win versus the team versus 14 stars or something like that. But overall, I mean, the base building is incredible from MS Esports so far, and I cannot wait to see how then maybe in the finals the next team is going to try their best against the base, because at this point it really feels like MS Esports has this in the bag, except there's a crazy 1-star or something happening. This should be a safe win for them at this point. So let's see if they can now go for the perfect. You were hoping for it quite a lot, getting this 15 star score overall, because so far they're 3 out of 3, 2 more attacks to go for them. And we have actually Cynthia coming in with a Lalo attack, and this seems to be I want to say a Blizzard Lalo, but at the same time, with all of those invisibility spells, what is this going to be? A Skelly Donut? Doesn't really make sense, because he's bringing the poison. So let's see if it's going to be, I don't know, a Roy Champion invisibility charge or something. Cynthia is always going to surprise us.
Yeah, Synthé does always surprise us. He'll never give us what we expect. I like that we have the one bat spell because I think I know where he's going exactly with this. I did go out to get donuts today, I will tell you. And there were no Skelly Jelly Belly donuts. They did have jelly donuts though. And there we go. We've got our Skelly Belly Jelly Donut coming right in the core, going for that multi. And going for the CC as well. So perfect combination here to clear out the core of the base. This is exactly what we get to see coming in from him. We're seeing more and more of that use of the back combination for the multis to help out. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of success, but equally we have seen these fail. They can tend to be risky with your timing and placement, of course.
Yeah, that's for sure. But at the same time now as well, getting that eagle with that flame flinger, always such a powerful siege machine, getting so much value. Oh, wait a second, the rocket loon now is closing in and taking down that eagle. So the eagle is secure, but the flame flinger is opening, I think, a little bit later than he would have liked to. At the same time now, king and queen closing in onto that town hall. Maybe even going to get that royal champion as well. Queen ability is in. King ability can still be used, so the town hall should fall next. And then the Lalo, most likely in from this maybe far left side, because that's where the sweeper is not pointing, but maybe he just does not care and is going to the 3 o'clock side with the Dragon Rider triggering even more red mines. The Town Hall is going to fall. It was close, but the Town Hall is down.
Yeah, Town Hall down makes a nice easy path, and look at this. We've got it going straight through, well, I was going to say straight through the core of the base, but we've got the Royal Champ and the Golem, that Ice Golem to tank to go for the scatter shot position. So this is a nice easy push for the Loons. Yes, they still need to make it through the core. Yes, he does have to worry about potential traps coming into it, but we do use the early Warden Tome so we can get past the defending queen, get those headhunters popped in, take her down nice and fast. And I like the freezes that he's been reserving for not only the multi-targeting Inferno, but the air sweeper. When you're looking around and planning your attacks, you have to think what's around that could, you know, cause some resistance or issues, and where you can get the best value out of your spell combinations, and this is exemplary of that.
Yeah, the sweeper though right now giving him some problems, but with the Loons closing on every single side, the power should be enough, but the time is the biggest problem right now for Cynthia with only 6 seconds left. The Hound is popping, which should provide some more cleanup, but the King is in the way and the storages are still alive for way too long time at the flanks to protect out of those biddings inside. And this means it's going to be a defense 94%, and that's now back to the possible 14 stars, which I was talking about earlier. I said it. I mean, I don't know why and what is going on, but it feels impossible right now for in the Clash Masters to get this 15-star score while we broadcast. I don't know why it's a thing, but whatever. But yeah, they now can get those 14 stars. Going to be out of reach anyways for Vatang, because Vatang right now already having too many 2-stars on the board. But they have one more attack. They're actually going to go in next with Lance Loda, most likely another Queen Charge Lado. So let's see if those anti-2-star bases are going to hold that as well. Because, I mean, Lance Loda is a really successful legend attacker as well. So he might be familiar with those and how to take them down.
He might indeed. And, you know, at this point, though, MSC Sports is on just a course of just non-stop action, what they're doing. So Lanzada, again, we've got this ring style base, the anti-2, in order to try and keep people from actually getting like a 2-star in it. That's why they designed these, so that they wind up with a 1-star with these ring style bases. But it's all about pathing. Most players are very safe in ensuring it, though. We did see I saw like lots of 1-stars coming in from a different matchup yesterday. Between Chasmic Gaming and Strut. It was crazy to see a start off war with 1-stars coming into the mix. So they do happen occasionally. So let's see if he can get the proper shape up. This King needs to do a lot of work to get that Queen lined up and ready to go.
Yeah, and the goal now is to break into this core. The wall breaker perfectly placed, getting the connection with the with the heal effect of the healers. And that charge is already looking beautiful. The King, though, is now charging in front of that Queen. His healers should not switch, otherwise we could have some problems. The King has to die right there. But so far, it's so strange. If that would have been not a King, instead this would be a Headhunter running into the base, those healers would have swapped in milliseconds. Like, it's healers right now are just crazy. But the Queen charge so far was successful. Lalo is about to start from this far left side, but that tornado trap right into the core, right into the town of poison is devastating because the queen now having to face a lot of damage, and queen ability has to be popped soon.
Yeah, he's going to have to keep an eye on this. Queen popping that ability. We've got the rage up healers. Poison is down, so this does spare her coming through to help out, but she's got the single targeted on her. Freezes it up to ensure that she stays alive. He's going to need the assist on this. A minute and 11 left. It seems like there's a lot of time, but she still has to beat her way through the walls to help out, and the loons are starting to thin. He's got 2 more to bring in, and the drag riders, of course, but he wants the queen to come in for the assist, and we know that she's not going to take that back end opening, but she's instead going to be through the walls, although the expo might bring her down and around.
Yeah, but I mean, still having the Royal Champion now the Royal Champion ability popped, which means only 1 arrow targeting defense is left alive at this point. So a nice 3-star now from Lens Loader. Really nice attack right there. Starting things off with that invisibility spell funnel. Nicely done. But at the end of the day, this is most likely not going to get them that victory. Except MS Esports is crazy, messing things up now. But 12 stars overall for Ratang, and that is really impressive, as we have said, from MS Esports, from their base bidding team, of holding back Ratang so strong. We have seen most of the time 14 stars from them in those ClashMaster playoffs, or like not the playoffs, but the qualifiers, sorry, overall. So seeing them only get 12 stars is really impressive, and yeah, crazy showing from the base bidding team.
Yeah, and you know, again, this is exactly what MSE Sports had been waiting. With the qualifiers, for many of you, if you're not watching during the week, the qualifiers are streamed by community streamers, but the teams are allowed to deny streamers from coming in to spare their bases. So MSE Sports was one of those teams that wanted to make sure that they had this opportunity, and I think it was a smart call for them. They wouldn't, like, it's their choice, and this is exactly why. And I think they saved their bases just for the right moment to take down Vatang, knock them out. This is single elimination round, and this does mean that we are going to see, if as long as they get 1 star in, save 2-star to come through, a potential position where MSE Sports, if they wind up in first place, we're not looking at the 4th place scenario now. We're looking at the 1st place scenario where if they tie, if they wind up in first place, they tie between Black Magic, and that would be for the 4th seed, which is the difference maker of being in the play-ins or the playoffs. So that is huge.
Yeah, that's for sure something to fight for MS Esports now at this point, and they are in again with Queen George, but this time around though, no Lalo scene. Instead, we have the Hog Riders coming in, which is kind of cool. Kingsman switching things up, and the crazy thing is, like, when some of those pros are playing those Queen Charge Hog Rider attacks, it's looking so strong. So let's see if we can make this work with the same time, getting that blimp into the tunnel compartment, taking down the tunnel with this safety blimp and another rocket loon to trigger some possible traps and make sure this queen is staying safe. Is the warden going to fall? No, the warden is actually not going to fall before the queen can take down the headhunter. Now finally the warden is gone, because you never want to have a warden on your queen, or she has to fight lava on, because the warden is doing so much damage. And now minion coming in, the queen should be safe to go, but that should be a dead eagle really soon, with those Hog Riders then getting sent in from the top right side.
Yeah, I think, didn't we see Kingsman come in not with a hybrid yesterday, but also with the Hogs as well, if I'm not mistaken? So creating a nice path. The difference with the Hogs and hybrid definitely is that you can use your king differently. You don't have to worry as much of the funnel, because the Hogs are going to go directly for those defenses. So you're not running the risk of the miners working out of path. You have a little bit more leeway with the spell combination, but with the charge that he's created, he's only got 1 heal to come in for it, and the warden ability to carry through. He's going to have to worry about that multi in the core of the base.
Yeah, and that wall break was just beautiful, getting that queen access to the next scatter shot as well, and even furthermore the expos on the back end. The Hog Riders are in from the top side. The bomb tower is going to stop some of them, but the next rage is in, the heal as well. Interesting enough that he's combining the rage and the heal over there, but I guess he just wanted to make sure that whatever is going into the multi-inferno tower is going to stay alive, is going to clear out the multi-inferno tower with that rage and heal together. Another rage for those Hog Riders, and it looks just so overpowering, to be honest. It's really, really crazy how good Kingsman is with those Hog Riders. Queen ability had to be used, but Roger ability is still not used until this point, which means 30 seconds should be really easily enough to finish off the base with a swag freeze onto the clan cars as well. What a beautiful attack, and it's going to be actually the 14 stars for MS Esports.
Yeah, you know, and I saw that and I kind of thought you were going to point that out because I know from watching your guides, particularly about hybrid, I think it was about a year or two ago, about the combination when you're coming in with the heal rage, that typically you don't want to overlap that heal rage because essentially you're forcing your hogs out of their heal quickly because they're working quickly and you're not getting the full value of it. So you want to do a process where you don't overlay it, but you actually just keep going through. So you can do rage, heal, rage, or heal, rage, heal. But in that situation where they have a lot of incoming damage and stuff, it seemed to work out really well and definitely helped him out in that one. So definitely knows what he's doing. 14 stars on the board, not the perfect board that we were hoping to see. Seems like nobody can break the streak quite yet, unless we see in later on. But massive, massive star differential here, and I think that's what's most impressive. So let's take a look at the bracket, see where we stand. We've got MS Esports working into the finals. We'll have to wait and see who's going to face off against them, and we won't have to wait long because we get to watch Queenwalker Stephanie versus Cutie Fen, which I'm excited for. We saw Cutie Fen coming in with Super Witches, and we know Queenwalker Stephanie had that 14-star performance. I mean, it's Queenwalker Stephanie. What else do I need to say?
I mean, Queenwalkers right now are looking incredible. Especially, it feels like it's their meta right now with how much Lalo is getting played. And they have now the new addition of Kazuma, who is the Queen Judge Lalo god himself. So I think we should take a look at the rosters coming in for this next matchup. And we have actually on the left side, Queenwalker Stephanie coming in with Kazuma, who I just mentioned. We have Stars, Clouds, Gaku, and Yusa. I mean, you guys know them there. We're smashing bases left and right already over the last couple of years, and they're still looking strong. Have to take now on Cutie Fen.
Yeah, I mean, Cutie Fen with the 13-star war yesterday, Queenwalker Stephanie with the 14-star. I think you still say this is going to be a close matchup. I think the harder part, and we talk about this a lot, is what happens for these teams where you have Queenwalker Stephanie, who is always in the limelight. You know exactly what to expect from them. Defensively, offensively, easy to go against them. But a team like Cutie Fen, who's just coming to the scene, you don't know as much about. So unless they've done their homework, this could be a difficult battle for Queenwalker Stephanie. So let's see what they've got in stores. Gaku kicks it off, coming in with the Queen Charge Lalo. Now we do have the Blimp Queen coming in from that opposite side of the Town Hall. So we could send that Blimp easily to work through the Town Hall position and clear up a nice area where, ooh, I like this actually, because we're going to send the Blimp in for the scatter shot and this Royal Champ area. Nice drop down with, ooh, we've got Rocket Loons and Yetis coming in. Beautiful, and gets a CC lure. Like it very much.
Yeah, I'm just right now thinking if it was planned for him to actually, well, get this queen to the right side, because it more looked like he wanted to go to the left side overall. But let's see how that's going to work. He's going to break his king, his queen now into that multi-inferno tower. It should actually open up for the king as well. So let's see if those two heroes are going to join forces now as they're approaching the core, and what exactly the plan overall is, because the town hall is still staying strong on that back end. King now approaching that defending king. There's the wall break we were talking about. Now he's pushing further into that core. But where is the Lado coming from? Because, as I said, the sweeper is pointing to the left, but taking a look and not taking too many risks, I feel like the Lado from the right looks overall better. But he has to make sure that the channel is going to fall. That's why he's going in from this far left side, even though there's the sweeper. But the queen should be at some point able to take it out as well.
Yeah, that queen's making her way there in just the amount of time needed. Holds up the Warden Tower and the Giga Inferno, which gives the queen the opportunity to get through. But she's going for the CC first, not helping out too much. But that does do some work. Tornado Trap is going to hold back the Loon slightly, but let's see if they can force their way through. We've got a drop of the haste to sweep them out as quick as possible into the scatter shot. The best thing that the Queen has done right now is actually distracted it to allow those Loons the opportunity to finish the job here. So Gaku with a phenomenal start, picking up the 3-star and definitely showing that they are not afraid of what QDFN is bringing today.
Yeah, and showing again how strong this Queen Charge Lalo is. It is so impressive to see those attacks with those Queen Charge Lalo attacks. And I was surprised for him, like, to let the Queen walk to the right side. I thought, okay, he tries to Queen Charge the town or something, but it felt like overall really planned, really collected. But that's as well the crazy thing about those legend attackers. They always make their plan looks like as it is intended. Even though the Queen is running 1,000,000 times left, right, at the end, it still looks like it was all intended from them, and that's what it makes so crazy. But at the same time, with Kazuma in the lineup as well, and Klaus at the moment likes to do Queen Charge Lalo as well, we most likely are still going to see a lot of Lalo attacks from them, and Sarge likes to do Blizzard Lalo, right? So there's a lot of air coming from their side. Let's see if QDFN has any answer to this. And first of all, they need to make sure that they're staying close 3-star wise, because, well, at this point in the meta, you have to perform on offense.
Absolutely, and we saw that in the last war, 12-14. You've got to keep those 3 stars rolling through, so that means you need to bring the right strategy. We did see QDFN yesterday with, I think we saw them with the Super Witches. So we'll see if they come in with that today as a strategy. It is a difficult one. We're starting to see more and more of it, but you do run the risk of time fail with it. So let's see what they have in store for us as we wait patiently for the attack. And I guess we don't have to wait too long. We do have Zuo with, look at that, the Super Witch attack coming in. The Zapquake is a great addition for this because it not only sets up the funnel, but it also saves a lot of time in the work that the Warden does, considering it is a slow-moving attack.
Yeah, and it feels like the last Super Witch attack, which we have seen earlier, which was actually a 3-star, he had like 1 minute left for the last 20% of the base, and it still got close because they are so freaking slow. So it's always a race against the clock. So let's see how that's going to turn out for him, with the Giant on the left side to tank for the Lock Launcher most likely, and for the Witches. So far, the Lock Launcher is not coming in just yet. But another interesting thing is that we are seeing again anti-3-star bases, even though we have seen from MS Esports earlier today that the nicely built anti-2-star base is working so great. It can decide already matches on their own. Lock Launcher now is coming in, but the Lock Launcher is kind of late, to be honest. So let's hope that the walls are getting open quick enough to make sure that the troops are not walking around and going into their own compartments. The Witches and especially the Giant big skeletons are pushing through the right walls, it seems like. First Witch is down though.
Yeah, we've got this pushing through, opening up the walls. Again, we have these jumps as backup options should we not open up the connection that we need to get to the town hall. But this is doing just fine to get what's needed. So it does give the opportunity to jump into additional compartments. But, I mean, yeah, we can jump this king into the town hall. He's still going strong slightly, maybe not as long, with the Wizard Tower and the cannon picking away. But this is looking exceptional. And the delayed Royal Champion to come in for the scatter shot is going to help out quite a bit here. But this is moving slowly. This is not going as fast as you want to see it, but there still is a minute left on the clock. I just worry about all the cleanup on the back end of the base. And this Queen, who doesn't have the healers anymore.
Yeah, the Warden ability has to protect her somehow. I mean, she has the Queen ability itself, but at the same time, with jumping over this wall right there, oh, I just want to say she's about to walk into the town of poison, but she's taking the jump again to walk around the outside. The healers are now coming back from the outside, following all of those skeletons over there. Royal Champion at the bottom side did not finish off the last remaining defense, and this means again it's a cleanup question because there is no minion at the bottom side, which could have been placed over there. There's only this one wizard working over on this bottom side, and cannon is still covering those bottom outside buildings, and this is a big problem again. It's the time, and this means it seems like that Queen Walkers definitely are getting in their first defense.
Yeah, so time Big factor here, we talked about it. That is a problem, and that is exactly what we were worried about. So defensively, Queen Walker starting off strong, though again, we're in the situation with a 95% 2-star. This does put them in a good situation if they're able to hold the defense. We talked about that during the MS esports war originally, with the 92% that came in first. Once you hit that high range, you put a little pressure on the other team to have to perform and hit that higher mark if they have any slip-ups. And we do see, even from the best of them, like Queen Walker Stephanie, some slip-ups from time to time. Pressure hits, you never know. But I don't know, with Kazuma on the team, it's been such a nice jive that they've had in the mix. But Queen Walker Stephanie had a 14-star war, so that would mean they need to hit a 96% or higher now.
Yep, that's exactly how things look like. And I mean, so far, Queen Walkers look incredibly strong. Would be a pretty cool final as well, like seeing Queen Walkers go up against MS esports, who so far looked really, really strong. And seeing then those different type of teams going up against each other, because Queen Walkers is playing so much Legend. So running down to a 2-star basis might sometimes play in their favor, let's put it like this. But let's see how that's going to turn out. First of all, we have to see how this match is going to turn out. But so far, already a nice lead for Queen Walker Stephanie. Stars is coming in with his Blizzard Lalo. Like, we know what to expect. I think this should be, I think, exactly his Legend army, if I see this right. Or maybe he's bringing a couple of more headhunters than in his Legend army. But he's coming in with the blimp, making sure that there's all of those test loons needed to actually get that blimp into this tunnel compartment and make sure that there's no traps whatsoever. And now with the invisibility spell, he should be able to take down the Expo, should be able to take down the Town Hall, and should be able to do up the Clan Castle as well.
Absolutely, doing a beautiful job at that. CC will be able to be pulled into a dark corner with that Hound. We still have the Headhunter up and alive, so we have to be careful about the placement of the Queen here, because if she does get distracted by any items, you can wind up having the Headhunter actually take the Queen on. So we're pulling her over to a corner so we can make sure that the Queen can stay focused just on that Headhunter first and nothing else, and then go on the Hound. So Queen's in a good spot now to take on the Hound. We drop that poison so we get the full circumference of the pups to get taken down in it. And that's about it. This is looking solid so far.
Yeah, the entry has worked out great for Star so far. He has now the King to push everything back inside, with that Ice Golem tankiness as well, coming in for that scatter shot. And now we know as well why he's brought so many headhunters, because depending on how the Queen steps, he might be able to only take down the King. If the Queen is stepping into this top corner to take down the defending Warden, then he might be able to take down the Royal Champion as well with her ability. Really depends on how those heroes are going to path. So far, it looks like the Queen should go to the right. Yes, she is. So the Royal Champion is going to get attracted by those archers, but the Queen is coming back to take her out, maybe. Yes, Royal Champion is down, while his own Royal Champion taking down that Eagle already.
This multi, though, we've got picking the double multi combination. We've got picking at the loons, and this is not ideal. Holding on to that Warden ability, it's a good position to actually try and pop it now, because we have the multis, the scatter shot, and the Queen all in radius here, plus the air sweepers. This is perfect timing. You see those red air bombs popping up. Timing could not have been better. So waiting on it was perfect, knowing that he had the additional loons to surround. Stars is one of those hitters that is difficult to defend against when it comes to Lalo. He is one of the best Lalo attackers out there, and we can see that here, holding on to an invisibility and a freeze that, you know what, really not needed, but should use it, yes, indeed, for the Wizard Tower here, because you don't want to risk it. We've got the Tornado Trap. He needs a cleanup. 23 seconds left to go. Drops the invisibility spell just for a little swag fun. And there you go. 3 stars on the board for Queen Walkers, keeping it 2 for 2, which is going to keep them in the lead.
Oh my goodness, what an attack again. Like, Queen Walkers, like, they are just insane with those attacks. And again, we see those teams, I feel like, having the most success with being those one tricks. I mean, MS esports, most of their players as well like to bring this certain army compositions, like Kingsman, for example, with the Queen Charge Hog Rider, which he has done now twice already. We see that with Queen Walkers now as well, with Gaku brought twice so far, the Queen Charge Lalo. Star so far brought twice, the Blizzard Lalo. They're just so good at it that it's so hard to defend those attacks. And really, at this point, QDFan really needs to make sure that this next attack is a 3-star, because so far in those matches, every single team which had a 2-star deficit actually lost overall. So triggering already the tornado trap and a lot of black mines is a good start for him, which means the town hall should be easily secured, and then the super dragons can be pushed around the top side of the space.
Yeah, so working with that queen from the 9 o'clock corner here, we've got her to weave her way around. I love always taking down the town hall in these style attacks. I think it's one of the easiest approaches to go. A, you know you secured it. You're not running the risk of leaving it to the very end or having a blimp fail coming through. But B, you also don't worry about the poison bomb and anything going through it. So for Dark Fairies, we have seen a lot of success. I do suspect to see a triple, but we still have to consider there has been a slight nerf with the Super Drags, and we've had some time with the update that happened with this in order for teams to try and start finding those small little nuances to actually defend against them. We've already seen that earlier today. Can we see it again? Look at this already, not in the core of the base where those Super Drags need to be. Royal Champ has to be deployed early rather than on the back end into the multi, but Town Hall's taken down, so it's not as much of a risk here, except that the queen is super low health and gonna have to, dies out through the ability, unfortunately, because I think she still had that left. So this does put a lot of pressure on the Royal Champ that she's not gonna be able to recover from.
Yeah, and I think interesting enough, we have seen pretty much the same attack already yesterday on this base from Utah, because they used this base yesterday. If you remember, we had the queen though yesterday walking into this 10 o'clock compartment to lure out the clan cast. At this time around though, the heroes did walk way better for him, but still it is not a 3-star, which would have mattered, and it's even going to be a really low percentage. So really great defense again from Queen Walker Stephanie. And we have now seen a team which had great success with the anti-2-star style bases, and now with those anti-3-star bases setups, overall we have Queen Walkers having a lot of success as well, really defending well those dragon type of attacks, which Q Defense so far had a lot of success with, and the Super Witches obviously as well, which are always something special when it's coming down to time. But this is already another match which has a 2-star deficit already after the first couple of attacks.
Yeah, this is in a very similar situation as we saw in the first matchup. Though the first matchup, Batang did start off with that phenomenal 3-star from Sincere Prayer. A little bit difficult for Cutie Fan. They were a 13-star scoring team yesterday with Queen Walkers. So I guess with the 14 stars coming in as the favorite for this matchup here, I think almost in any match they would come into, they would be the favorite, just because you know the power, you know what they're coming in with. They might be predictable in what they do, but they do it so well, and that's the difference maker. But the defense is holding strong is the big difference that we're seeing today that I don't feel that we saw quite enough of yesterday.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like seeing so many teams now defending so well, like 12 stars in the first match is pretty low if you consider it for like the top teams in the world. And right here as well already, Queen Walkers defending twice against QDFan, and now they're up next. I mean, if they're following their attack pattern, we should see Kazuma attacking next, and since we know him as Queen Charge Lalo God himself, he should attack probably again with Queen Charge Lalo. Let's see what type of siege machine he's going to use, because that's so fun watching him use like the log launcher, for example. Seeing those huge hero dives, that's always something great to watch. But at the same time, I feel like on those anti-3-star style bases, it's not working that consistent most of the time. We have seen other siege machines really taking over compared to the log launcher. And there we go, it is right, Kazuma's in, and oh my goodness, at the moment at least, he has the log launcher selected. Let's see if he's going to switch things up or if he's going to stay with that one.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we do see a lot of power with using these log launchers when we want to go in for nice deep hero dives. So we shall see if that's the case here. King split up from the queen charge could mean that we're going to send in the ward and send in, well, if we're, I guess it depends because we can log launch a queen towards a town hall, but that's not what we're going to do. We are going to log launch that king straight into the core of the base, clear the pathing. So we will reserve the warden to come in and I guess potentially Lalo the town. Oh no, we don't even need to Lalo the town hall. We've got the jump to send the queen in. This log launcher is going to clear out the multi-targeting Inferno, and queen's got a nice path leading through. This leaves for an easy peasy push on the 12 o'clock side where we have the scatter shot. With that warden ability, that's a huge clear out there.
Yeah, this is what I love about Kazuma so much, because this is something like an unusual way of using the log launcher, because myself as well, like when I use queen charge log or queen charge log launcher charges, you always use the log launcher for your queen charge, right? But Kazuma always uses the log launcher in a way where second layer threats which could have reached the queen are getting taken down, like the multi-inferno tower. Multi-inferno tower would have been a threat to that queen, so instead of like bringing maybe the royal champion or something over there, he's bringing that log launcher to take it out, and then uses wall breakers or jump spells to get that queen further into the compartment he would like to, because now he's having the royal champion with the Lalo, which makes the Lalo even more powerful, and this attack already is looking so crushed.
It really is. And the Yeti coming along, helping out. We've got that freeze for the multi-targeting Inferno. Absolutely spectacular the way that he's come in with this. But Kazuma is known for his Lalos. He's been a great addition to the team, brought on as the sixth player here. Of course, Stadra had been playing, but taking some time away. And look at this, stunning. We've got some swag spells and launching that celebratory Seeking Shield to take some damage. So GG to Kazuma, keeping Queen Walker Stephanie 3 for 3. They are dominating through this one the way we saw MSE Esports, and it looks like for QDFen, I don't know, they must be thinking at this point, is there any turnaround? Can we do anything to stop them? How would you feel up against Queen Walker Stephanie at this point as a player?
I mean, I was always lucky enough to have Maxi in my team because, to be honest, my mental game isn't the best. I like to give up really early. Like, I don't know, like it's so hard to stay mindset-wise in those matches when you're like 2 stars behind or even like 1 star and really high percentage, and sometimes really rough. So I always was happy that I had Maxi on my side, who was like the mental man himself. Like he was super good in hyping people up and everything. So I feel like that's someone who you need in your team, like making sure that the mood is good in your team. And I don't know, let's see if QDFan has someone like this, because at this point it's really rough. Like so far, Queen Walker Stephanie 3 out of 3. On the other side, QDFan 0 out of 2. It is not going to be easy to turn this around, and at the same time, it is out of their hands as well, because if Queen Walker Stephanie is going to keep 3-starring, how are they supposed to come back, even if they are keep 3-starring as well at this point? So it's tricky. All they can do is just like do not watch the defenses that if they can do it, and then just concentrate on their offense.
Yeah, I think, you know, when the cards are stacked against you, it does make it a lot harder. So you need that motivation coming into it and hope that your defenses work through. So we've got more of the Skelly Bat Donut. I think I tease you too much with the Skelly Belly Jelly, but it always reminds me of a jelly donut with a purple inside that ring. And is he able to do it successfully? No, unfortunately not, because we see that the multi does not go down, but he at least gets the CC, which is probably the most important thing. Just the problem is going to be that the double combination of multis in the center of the base.
Yeah, and especially without having the proper pathing into those multi-inferno towers, I feel like that's a really big problem, because if you take a look at how the inferno towers are structured, and the pathing is really tricky, but take a look at that Tesla form. The ice golem is exploding in a millisecond right there. Really annoying Tesla form, and running right into it. King, though, not walking into the eagle, it seems like. Nope, the king is not walking into the eagle as intended. He wanted to split the queen for that scatter shot, and the king for the eagle has to now change his plans, send in the royal champion over there. But it's going to be tricky, because as soon as the king is going to lock onto the royal champion, things are going to get trickier and trickier. He needs to now use the headhunter to somehow save the day.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do that. But for now, we've got the Royal Champ having to contend. Looks like he wants to save those, coming in with the Lalo portion, and the King still stands. So not enough. Well, I guess we get decent value, but it would have been nicer to see that Royal Champ kind of coming through the core of the base. This is what I'm worried about. Warden ability we still have intact, and he might want to hold on to this coming as he worries not only about the multis but the potential traps in the way, and we've got the air sweeper pushing along, so Freezes could help out here. Haste definitely doing some good work. Here are those traps. Oh snap, but can he get it down? Yes he can, through the Warden ability, timed perfectly to clip them through. So Yang, he might be that maxi for the team there, giving them the hope, giving them the motivation to come back in. And of course, we still have the Queen who has the ability, but we just need to backtrack a little bit. But the Headhunter, I see her over in the corner there. She can get to that Battle Builder hut, but I think the Loons will beat her out first.
Yeah, what a turnaround. Really impressive. Like, missing those two multi-inferno towers in the beginning, then running straight into the Tesla farm. So overall, a really unfortunate entry for him, but still turning things around. Really strong attack right there, making sure that the Lalo is, especially the Warning ability, is perfect to protect the Lalo overall. And with that, turning things around, 3-star for them. And that's the best thing they could have done, like, in this position, like, hopefully getting this chance of getting a comeback. But at the same time, though, it's getting kind of scary when you think about who is still having attacks left on the Queen Walker side, because it is overall Klaus and it is Utah. So, and they need 2 defenses or a 1-star. So it's looking tricky for them, let's put it that way, because they at the same time need to go 2 out of 2 on offense, and they need 2 defenses against those 2 guys. Whew, I mean, there could have been better scenarios, let's put it like this.
Yeah, but yesterday, was it Yuta that actually picked up the 2-star in the end, if I'm not mistaken? Because they were close to the perfect war, but Yuta had the 2-star. So if Klaus were to also 2-star and Yuta 2-starred, maybe they could turn this around, because we do have that high percentage from these attacks that they've brought in. But, you know, 92% overall right now. It does feel situated kind of low. It is a little bit harder to push back from that. So I think they'd be asking for some big defenses coming in. And I think that's where the problem lies, is getting big defenses against Queen Walkers, unless Klaus plans on doing something crazy and ridiculous like mass headhunters. Who would ever do that?
I mean, I don't know. Some crazy people would do that for sure. So let's see how that's going to be and what he's actually bringing. But I think he's going to stick to somewhat of a Lalo attack. Maybe he's going to stick to Queen Charge Lalo. I think he switched to Queen Charge Lalo as well in Legends. But nope, he is going to go with Lalo. But he is going in with this Skelly Donut, it seems like. And there we go. Bat and Skelly spell are in, making sure to take down that multi-inferno tower and that Clan Castle right in the beginning. And so far it looks great. Another invisibility spell hitting the mark. Clan Castle is down, and the Inferno Tower as well. Things are looking good for the entry for Klaus, and he says a golem, which typically leads into crazy hero dives for him.
Yeah, and also has the invisibility spell that can help with the Royal Champ getting deeper inside the base. We do have that multi that we want to take care of. Obviously, like, we look at the surrounding area, we've got Scattershot, Multi, Eagle. These are heavy hitting items that we want to focus on. So it does, but we've got the Log Launcher as well. This is going to be a nice, unless he switches it up. I mean, he could potentially switch it up to a Stone Slammer to help with the push, because we've got the Scattershot, or maybe a Blimp, as he will be lallowing through that Town Hall there.
I mean, Klaus has done many times crazy hero dives, or tried them, to get a lot of value. So let's see how that's going to work. I guess, though, this time he does not aim for the tunnel. He's aiming for the defending Queen and the defending Royal Champion and that multi-inferno tower. That's how things are looking like for me. But let's see if he's going to get those two. The Expo, obviously, as well in the menu. There's the freeze, making sure the Queen is staying alive. And that's the great thing about those attacks, that knowing your heroes and your troops in general, like how much damage they can take, how much damage they can take out as well, and deal to the other defenses. Because take a look at that, multi-inferno tower is down, Royal Champion is down. Things are looking great for him, that he should even take down the defending Warden to create a really straight up pathing into that Town Hall.
Wow. That's beautiful, and I like the use of the Ice Golem in the the log launcher there, because you saw the freeze up of the single targeting Inferno that allowed the Queen the opportunity to clean up the rest of that base. So this was absolutely beautiful. And even though we don't get to see the creativity, what we actually get to see from this in Klaus is the clean thought and perspective that he comes in with. This is like precision at its finest. Beautiful pathing for the Lalo, and I think we're going to see a lot of swag coming into this. We have 2 freezes, loons are surrounding, and when you have a splash item you surround like this, you don't really need to freeze anything. So look at all the swag. We've got 2 freezes, an invisibility spell, we've got 3 loons. Here he goes, dropping it. He has absolutely wrecked this base, Itsu.
Yeah, at the same time, I would love to touch a bit on this creative part, because I feel like it was a creative attack, because I guess it's depending on what the understanding is of what is actually creative. And that's like, to me, such an interesting topic, actually, because we see so many people saying, okay, as soon as you play Queen Charge, the attack is not creative anymore. Or like as soon as you play Surilalo, the attack is not creative anymore. I highly doubt that we have seen those log launcher, hero dive that on a regular basis like this, like really seeing the weakness of the base, which to Klaus in this case was that there was a multi-phone tower and 2 air targeting heroes in one place. Then he tried to create a big enough hero dive to take them out and said, okay, log launcher is going to support them. That's looking great. So really strong attack, and the Lalo at this point then kind of felt like those Queen Charge Lalo attacks where the Lalo was just the cleanup purpose in this one.
Yeah. So let's take a look at FC, because at this point they know that unless there were a 1-star, there's really no turning this around. They would, I think, need a 1-star from Muta and go perfect on the rest of their hits in order to make this happen. And we're talking about like a low percent 1-star. So coming in with a Skelly Bat Donut, we've got in the core of the base, CC not quite down. There we go. Gets that down and gets pretty much what he needs out of this. We do have the air sweeper standing, but it looks like he took down. He's going to have to worry about the air sweepers on these, depending on where he comes from. So we'll see how that affects us and comes into play. But Yeti on the outside, shaping up the pathing and funnel, which is very nice to get into the scatter shot. But the blimp to take on the town hall. Uh-oh, there's sneaky gobs in there. Want to make sure that they don't wind up over at the storage. Looks like some of them are going for the storage. Drops the invisibility spell to help it out, but is it enough? Yes, it is. Ooh.
Yeah, really nicely done. Turning the Dark Elixir storage invisible, so the goblins have no other choice than going for that town hall. So really nicely done over there. Meanwhile, now having the king and the queen and the royal champion diving for the scatter, for the queen and for the eagle over there, with the Lalo already starting from this far right side. But the Lalo is really spread out. He needs to be careful with that. We have as well the defending royal champion trying to dish out the damage. Right now, it's looking kind of tricky. The loons are dying out quick. The far right side already, nearly all of those loons are gone. So this Lalo is it's going to be not easy at all.
It's not. This is going to be a tough one for Etsy, or Chien, I should say. Coming in, just drops the freezes over the scatter shots, trying to give these loons a fighting chance, but all this backtrack is going to be pretty problematic. We do still, I was going to say have the queen alive, but she's just had to force through her ability. Expose unrelenting here, and this is not going to be what he needs. That queen needed to do a little bit more work, and there's absolutely zero support. So Queen Walkers coming in with more defenses. This, again, is looking exactly like the same matchup we had earlier today. But the big question is, will we see the PW?
You really want to see that? Okay.
I figure coding it, maybe coding it won't jinx it, Itsu. Maybe.
I mean, let's see. Cannot wait to see if the coding has worked and turned things around. But this at least is not going to be the 3-star we were hoping for, to see the match being a bit more closer and maybe could have been turned around. But at this point, Queen Walker Stephanie is going to be most likely in that final versus MS Esports to fight for the last couple of qualification points. While then we're going to see have QDFan versus Batang battling it out for seed number 3 and number 4 to make sure that they're trying to get as many points overall as possible. But we have one more attack now for Queen Walkers, and let's see if they can go for the PW.
the PW. That's all we're saying. We're not saying anything else. We're going to try this combination. I mean, we're not supposed to think about it because apparently that's the way that you jinx, but we have not seen a PW yet. Not yet, Itsu. But we have seen a lot of close calls in the wars. What I do have to say is that QDFN has held strong. We've seen some beautiful attacks coming in from them, but Queen Walker's just on point with their base defenses. Maybe taking the same strategy as MS Esports did, trying not to show a lot of what they're doing. I know Queen Walker's was in the same situation during the qualifiers that they did not want to showcase. And, you know, streamers do respect that. They put a lot into the community. We have so many bases burned when you consider how many wars they play in, how many leagues they play in, how much attention that they get. So it's hard for some of these teams to really keep under wraps. So this is where we want to see it happen. This is where we want to see their defenses in these big, exciting matches like this, where a lot is on the line to get into the playoffs. So for Yuta to finish us off, we have him rocking up with the is this a Lalo Drag Rider combination that we saw this yesterday as well? Just coming in with a deep hero dive and then kind of cleaning it up and surrounding with the loons and the Drag Riders.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those classic lock launcher approaches where you're sending your lock launcher with your hero dive, then he's going to wall break into the multi-inferno tower compartment, and he makes sure that he's actually getting the jump later on into the tunnel. So it's kind of like a hero dive, queen charge Lalo, cleanup, Lalo attack, things like that. Let's see if the Lalo is going to actually work, because he has some problems right there with actually his king walking inside, and now the warden is in there as well, and that's something which I freaking hate so much. Luckily the warden is following those Yetis, because I don't know how this warden is doing it. He's like a magnet for those healers, and whenever your queen is taking damage and you think like, please healers, switch back to my queen, she needs your help, do something about it, well, that's what the healers never do. So that's sometimes how you fail those attacks, because take a look at that. At the moment he is pushing strong, and I mean, he had only a couple of Dragon Riders to clean things up, and the queen charging pretty much the entire base. Things are looking really good right now for Yuta, and there is not that much left of the base.
This is just showing the sheer power of the heroes right now. I mean, the way you talked about Klaus and his exemplary performance in showcasing how far you can go with your heroes. Certain players, not everybody. I mean, they're just built different. But this shows the power of the heroes. We still have the Yetis working their way along. A minute 2 on the clock, getting these heroes in. Who can actually walk away with this? And Itsu, I'm going to say it. We've got Yuta coming in with the first perfect war of this weekend. So the first time we finally have it in. Queen Walker, Stephanie are setting the tone, going up against MS Esports. QDFN still have an attack left, but we finally saw it. That's a key. We can't say perfect war. We just got to say PW so we don't jinx it.
That's probably the way to go, but really nice attack right there, completely obliterating that base with pretty much just his heroes. And yeah, the queen charge looked great, really nice base identification overall, and this means at this point QDFN, no chance whatsoever. The 1-star they were hoping for did not come in, even though it was somewhat of a risky approach, but it did not happen for them. The queen survived all of this, and this means they can come up to 12 stars as well, and maybe finish on a high, because they have to play one more match later and have to face off versus Vatang to get and fight for this 3rd seed, to get even more qualification points, to then maybe secure for sure a really high possible seeding in the playoff spots, because that's where they're heading towards. So QDFN next, and let's see if they can collect some momentum for the next match later today.
Absolutely. Yeah, you talked about like where they could be seated in this, and that is going to be something that they want to ensure that they can stay within, obviously. But MS Esports does move a lot of things around, and that's what the interesting match to follow up is going to be, as MS Esports will face off against Queen Walkers. We'll talk about that momentarily as we wait for this final attack to come in. Let's see if QDFN can pick up the speed a little bit, the steam, to finish off strong, because they still still have to face Vitang for the placement position for that third place match. And that will be an interesting one as well, since both of these teams did struggle against their opponents coming into it. So I think they want to pick up the 3-star for a nice final finish here to get motivated to come in. Like you were talking about, Maxi, that motivator, keeping you on a high before your next war. And we have Kelvin to finish off the job here. Again, we get to see the log launcher, and because we only have 16 loons in those 2 drag riders, kind of a similar approach about how he's going with this, except that we'll see more of the cleanup with the loons rather than exactly what we saw from Yuta, because not many people can do that.
Yeah, and he's coming with a log launcher with an interesting angle. Like typically you want to have the log launchers, or like more like the logs of the log launcher taking care of some key defenses, but he's relying now on the log launcher. Oh, that queen ability had to be used because the rage is so... Wait, that queen died. The queen died in her ability because the rage was off, and this is now really bad for him because, well, the warden is gone, the royal champion had been used, everything pretty much had been used, so he has to send the Lalo and the Dragon Rider into that town hall. You can see some people make this look easy, like Yuta just did with the log launcher.
Yeah.
But you need to keep your heroes alive and need to direct them, which sometimes is way harder than it looks like when those pros are doing it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is you see the pros do it and you think, oh, this is so easy, I can do it. And it's very misleading how difficult you can understand the attack. It's a difference of knowing the attack, understanding it, but then actually properly executing this. And this is looking like we're turning into trying to force getting a 2-star, but with the tornado trap holding off the loons. He's doing his best to try and get them in there for the town hall, but this is going to be an unfortunate 1-star finish now for Cutie Fen, which is not the motivation they need to go up against Vitang, though Vitang probably feeling slightly defeated after MS Esports came in with that victory. I'm sure they're going to be raging to go back and try and get through and claim 3rd position in this matchup in particular.
Yeah, but that is always the risk with coming in with those attacks, like the risk of getting that 1-star, because as we have said, when you cannot direct your heroes, or there's a lot of traps against your heroes, or your queen is dying, it's really hard sometimes to save that 2nd star, because the tornado trap around the town hall can mess up your loon pathing so bad, and typically you have already invested the majority of your spells into your queen, if she's not already died like in the first second, but which means like you have maybe 1 rage, maybe like 1 freeze, but that's most of the time it. Like you don't have any more spells for to get the town hall, and that's if the tornado trap is over there, or if there's any red bombs. This can be sometimes really, really tricky to secure even the 2nd star if things are going wrong. So it's a high-risk, high-reward approach with, when not executed properly, falling short in a 1-star is a possibility like we have seen right there.
It definitely is. And I have to say, Yuta was just probably one of the most impressive attacks that we've seen today, showcasing that. And of course, the power that Klaus showed. And this is why I think, you know, they don't talk too much about why they have their positions, but those are 2 very strong attackers. I think that can help the team turn things around if they need to. I've only ever once actually seen them switch up the lineup, but kudos to Queen Walkers as they move on with that 15-star war. They're going to match off against MS Esports, and that does lead to an interesting predicament that we'll talk about later. But we can take a look at the brackets and see where these teams face up, because we have a lot of interesting action still to come. So we have MS Esports facing off against Queen Walker Stephanie, but we also have this 3rd place match of Vitang versus Cutie Fen. I would ask you who you think is going to win in either of these wars, but this is a tough one from what we've seen today.
It's a really tough one, but I have to say, like, based on the results which we have seen today, like offensive and defensive wise, the MS Esports versus Queen Walker Stephanie match is going to be crazy. I'm super excited for that one. And then Vitang, the question is for me, can Vitang recover again and showcase their incredible offense? If Cutie Fen is not running those dirty ring bases, which are so incredibly annoying to attack sometimes. So that's to me like the big question, because except this one match versus MS Esports, Vitang always looked really strong. So Oh, yo,
Yeah.
that's going to be some crazy, crazy matches still.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'd love to actually take a look at is the prize pool for the qualifiers, again, just to showcase where these teams stand off with the qualifiers, because it is a lot, you know, it's a lot on the line here. So there is a difference in what you're getting through the qualifiers. First place getting 2,500, second place getting 1,500, third getting 800, and fourth getting 600. So that's a big difference there. What we're going to be looking at in what these teams are getting, an extra $200 between third and fourth place, and that is going to be the next match that we will get to see. But I mean, huge jump. $1,000 difference between first and second is going to be really exciting. And the fact that if MS Esports are able to overcome Queen Walkers, we see a huge shift in what's going on, and we would wind up with an additional match to watch today, Itsu.
Yeah, that's right. That's always something you have to keep in mind with like those points which are getting shifted around, those qualification points, and obviously the table always changing the leaderboards. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how things are turning out, and especially having a look at that finals with MS Esports possibly challenging with that first seed later on with a tiebreaker match. But all of this is going to come after that next break. We're going to be gone for a couple of seconds, couple of minutes. Then we're back with the finals and with the third seed match. See you in just a bit.
Welcome back to Clash Masters Gold Edition, powered by Rush.gg. We're excited to be back. We are heading into the third place match, but why don't we take a quick look at the bracket, Itsu?
Yep, let's jump into the bracket and see what matches we have still left today, because we have our third place match. First, the Tank versus QDFan, and then the finals right after with MS Esports versus Queen Walker Stephanie. But there's a bonus, because if MS Esports is going to be actually first after this finals, like if they're going to win versus Queen Walker Stephanie, we are going to have a tiebreaker match to see if MS Esports can actually get into the top 4, because they're going to have the same points as one of the top 4 teams already. So there's a lot of things on the line, a lot of points on the line to actually get to the playoff stage later on. So yeah, I cannot wait for those matches to happen and see if we're going to get even a third match today.
Yeah, but first we've got the third place match to take a look at, and this does mean a 200 difference in the prize pool for the qualifiers. And we are going to be watching Vitang with Lanslada, PSW, Warning, Sincere Prayer, the MVP, and Rollo facing off against QDFan. And why don't you tell us a little bit about their lineup here, Itsu?
Yeah, QDFan coming in with Young, Dog Fairy, Kelvin, GNFC, and Zero. I think Dog Fairy, if I remember that correct, they actually was the MVP of the first week, I believe. So they have a lot of potential in their lineup, but they need to make sure that they're unlocking it. Obviously, the first qualifier was played before the balance changes, so Super Dragon's air in general was a bit stronger. Let's see if they can somehow overcome this now. But first, we see Vitang again with Sincere Prayer coming in first. Have some lightnings in the core this time around though, which means he is not left with any rages whatsoever. So this is going to be a slow push. Let's see how much damage those dragons can actually tank.
Yeah, very interesting indeed to come in this style. This is not one that I've actually seen come through quite like this. We do have to worry about those drags coming in and drag riders to come for the town. I'm sorry, the Inferno drags to come in for the town hall there. But we do have the Stone Slammer to keep this on course for the Eagle position. 4 of those dragons actually working through, but they get hung up in the poison bomb. So that's a huge loss coming into this. However, we always talk about the push of dragons going into the core of the base. That's already been cleared out with the zap. So it's up to the heroes to really do the work here, and what we have coming out of the Stone Slammer, along with the drags remaining on the 6 o'clock side of the base, and that the Inferno drag as well.
Yeah, the Slammer still not now he's actually open with the Rocket Loons, interesting enough, coming out, and those Rocket Loons were really a big game changer to take down the air defense as well, and things are looking great. I have not seen too many dragon attacks without a single rage, to be honest, overall, so quite surprising how well that went, and how smooth that went without that single rage overall, with just freezes and obviously the lightnings in the beginning. So interesting army, but I mean, do we expect anything different from Sincere Prayer? I mean, can he even fail? That's the big question, because it seems like whatever he does, if it's Electric Dragons, if it's Dragons, Dragon Riders, whatever spells, he is always going to come out on top, and it's incredible how consistent he is. And I feel like he is one of the main reasons why Vitang right now is so successful.
I think he's just having fun showcasing the various different type of dragon attack strategies that you can do, not only with the variety of dragons, but the approaches that you can take. And he does it with like lightning speed precision, as he is the MVP with what was it overall? Was it about 1:43 was his average time?
Yes.
Which is insanely impressive, considering the amount of attacks that he's done, the variety that we've seen from him to be able to do that. And he's even beaten it, as we've seen today and yesterday, that overall average with some impressive hits. So kudos to them. Great start for Vitang, and that's always the way you want to start off, on a high note. Is this going to put the pressure on QDFan is a big question, or are they going to be a good pairing? These are two teams that got knocked into the 3rd and 4th place bracket match because they got taken down with pretty high-scoring wars. I mean, MS Esports held Vitang back to 12 stars. That's impressive, not something you often get to see. So motivation could be down, which could be an advantage for QDFan. What would you say on that, Itsu?
I mean, Even though, yeah, maybe the motivation or like the momentum more likely is down right now for the tank, but I feel like the momentum right now for QDFN is even worse when it comes down to that, because they just finished on a 1-star their match versus Queen Walkers.
Sure.
And even though the tank had still 12 stars, I mean, they had some close attacks, yes, but overall 12 stars is nothing too bad. And on the other side, we had QDFN, I think, with like 10 stars or something. So, or like 11 stars. So that's obviously then a different note. So let's see how they're going to come into this match. I feel like the beginning of this match is really important for those two teams to like just showcase that they're still capable of those high scoring matches, and you need to connect those 3 stars early on. So excited for the first attack, and if it's going to be Super Witches again, it seems to be Super Witches it is versus QDFN again. So let's hope for not another time fail.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We were talking about with these Super Witch attacks, how they do often have the propensity to time fail because of the slow movement of the Super Witches. But one of the things when you use the Zap Quake combination and the Warden can help speed it up. So that's what we need to see, is how quickly they can get this moving along. It just lost a lot in the core of the base, and that was the bigger problem, was taking care of the cleanup in the last one. It wasn't a matter of how much time he lost from the start. So he just needs to speed this along, keep everything in line, and keep that queen alive. That's the most important thing. I believe there was a split with the healers that actually didn't protect the queen, so she wasn't there to help out.
Yeah, and again, we see the lock launcher. I feel like we see so many times the lock launcher nowadays. Again, like not only with those Super Witches, obviously, but a lot of times as well with Lalo attacks. Like we saw it with Klaus, with the hero dive Lalo. We saw it from Kazuma with the queen charge Lalo. So lock launcher is getting really, really popular as well, because it's just so strong. It takes down, you can see those defending Client Castle troops with just those logs, and opening up all of those walls as well. So really great siege right now, providing a lot of opportunities to just come in from the other side and take down a lot of buildings without even coming close to them with those logs.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we tend to see Yetis coming out of it to help out with some of the Infernos, but we've got the Ice Golem that's actually going to freeze over for the multi here, help spare those healers if they come back in line, but also holds off the defending Royal Champion. They just need to get in place to get the benefit of it, trying to force that Headhunter in, but you know what? That was a little slow on thinking, the reaction time, but is it enough to take down the Royal Champ? Yeah, it actually is. Wow. That Headhunter doing some excellent work coming through that.
Yeah, the snare trap though, rotating everything close to that Town of Poison, so staying outside or out of that Town of Poison is the key thing. At the same time, the Headhunter did not take down that multi-inferno tower, so the Royal Champion now has to do that. But with that giant bomb, let's see if she can make it. Royal Champion throwing her spears. And now again, we have this problem with the time. 35 seconds, and it looks good, just like time-based and power-based, but at the same time, it is getting kind of close with every single second, because those Super Witches are so slow.
Yeah, and you have the minion coming in on the Royal Champ podium below. Nice to have that wizard that was helping with the storage as well. So able to clean up that bottom side of the base at 6 o'clock. And 12 seconds left. Queen's got to work through. She's got the Super Witches, but as you said, they're slow moving. So it's up to the Queen to power this along with 6 seconds left. Itsu, can they get it done? This big boy decides to wrap around the corner, and we already see it. 2 seconds, that is not gonna be enough. So it is another time fail, but this time a 98%. And that's gonna hurt, you know? Like, that just hurts a little bit when you're so close to getting it done. And again, you know, that unfortunate push in the core of the base, it would have been nice to see the value of that Ice Golem actually having some effect coming in. Like, if that Headhunter had dropped a little bit quicker, would have taken the Royal Champ down faster, you know, and could have helped out just a little bit more in this mix. Would it have made that difference because he needed about an extra 3 to 5 seconds? I don't know, but it's a tough start. But at least at a 98%, you know, this puts pressure on the Tang.
Yeah, I mean, hard for sure to tell if it would have been maybe a 3-star then. But at the same time, like, I think like using maybe Super Bonus instead would have been way more successful. That would be my guess. So they're just so much more quicker than those Super Witches. But Let's see how the next attack is going to work, because we have, again, Raylo in. Yesterday we have seen this base defend versus a Super Wizard P.E.K.K.A smash attack with the bats. So let's see how that Lalo attack is going to work on it, because yesterday it defended, as I said. And today we have the P.E.K.K.A, we have the King running right into that Tesla farm with the Royal Champ together. So things are not looking too bad, but the Queen should be able to take down the town without any further problems.
Yeah, looks like he gets a decent amount of value out of it, but the Royal Champ going a little bit rogue here and jumping across, not coming in to take out that scatter shot, and the King's not going to be able to get it done. So this is unfortunate if she doesn't turn back around. Queen already died out through that poison bomb and the town hall. And all the incoming damage. So scatter shot's going to stand, and nothing is going to be able to deal with this. Are the headhunters still up here? No, looks like the Yak actually took it out. Oh, but we have the super minion to worry about, so still need to focus on the CC.
Yeah, and I feel like this defending scatter shot was supposed to go down as well, because, I mean, the scatter shot is typically a target for you, but running into that Tesla farm early on gave his heroes a couple of problems, but at the same time, taking down the Tesla farm then around is not a bad thing either. And with having those air defenses so deep in the core, it means that, well, there is not too much space for possible red bombs, because those lava hounds are going to trigger a lot of those possible red bombs. Warden ability is still out there, which you can still use. Warden ability pop now with the skeleton spell, with the rage combination for that defending Queen, but still, he has to make sure that that Queen is going down, because there's no headhunters. The rage skeletons, though, are doing their best to try and take her down. Is it going to work? We cannot see the HP of the Queen. Queen is ticking lower and lower with that pup, and now the owl as well. The owl is such an important pet overall. But there is
the traps coming up. He's got the invisibility, well, but they're not even in it. Yeah, he could have saved. He actually could have saved that invisibility for coming in for that air defense instead. Warden going for it. Tornado trap knocking down the loon, but the AD goes down, and now we just have the mortar. The biggest problem here is going to be time. Oh, he's got an extra loon in his back pocket. This is going to help out considerably, knowing how slow the Warden is on cleaning up. It's a race to the clock for Rallo to try and pick up another 3-star. But could we see this maybe tied up to a 98%, perhaps?
I mean, we have 20 more seconds with the Warden to go, and most of the minions are circling around this Bitter Hut. So it feels like it's not going to be the 3rd star he is hoping for, but it should be pretty good percentages. The question, as you said, is it going to be more than this 98% from Q defense? So that would be an important thing. They matched it. Okay, it's 98%, but it is actually going to be this exact same percentage. Okay, okay. This is setting up for some interesting cases later on. So let's see if that's going to come in. But well, if QDFN now follows their pattern, they should have, I think, it's Super Dragon attack following in next, because that was their pattern so far, always coming in with the Super Witches first, then coming in with their, well, with their Super Dragons. And that could then again match the time of the attack of Sincere Prayer, if we're going all the way into this rabbit hole and trying to see if it could be a perfect tie. But let's see. I think it's too early to call this, but so far it's a good start for this to happen.
You already said the P word out loud, so I don't think it counts now. You have to use the code to make it not jinx, as we found out in the Queen Walkers match. So yeah. It would be the PT instead, too. But this could lead for some interesting effects, and I think it's actually motivating for QDFN to see that they can defend against a team like Vitang. So that is huge. You'll see the follow-up on here. You mentioned Dark Fairies. In the first one was the MVP, so this should give some just a nice boost for him coming into this. The motivation that's needed in order to pick up 3-star. Starting off with the Flame Flinger to go for that scatter shot. We do have in proximity that mortar that you do have to be mindful of. So typically what we do is we try and distract. You can see that the Barbarian is dropped in here to provide that distraction. So it takes limited damage coming in and can wind up surviving longer through the raid to get as much value as possible.
Yeah, that's really nicely done, but there's the outside giant bomb. Like, that's actually such a sneaky thing, which I have learned from Reaker, actually, that you can use those outside giant bombs to, like, make the life of those Oh, there's even skeleton traps coming in, make the life of those flame fingers kind of miserable. But we have those super dragons now coming in as we expected them to come. But he's taking all the risk in the world. Like, he's not having a blimp for the town hall. His heroes are on the other side of the town hall. Those super dragons really need to take care of the core, and it really needs to keep his hero alive to get the second star, because this is an all or nothing attack.
Yeah, and we do see a bit of a spread over to the side. It's never a bad thing to have a couple of drags on the outside of the base, but you need the primary push coming in to the center where the heroes can't reach. Their focus is to work on the outside edges. When you have the openings, it's nice because you can get in, but actually this does have some power left over for the access weaving in and out. As long as that queen stays behind and limits the damage, she can hold on to that ability. King popping his, but we still have the Hound in the CC, so we need those dragons to take the lead, work with the queen, but for now, the King is distracting it. Royal Champ gonna try and take it down when she gets off her focus.
Yeah, the queen, oh my god, the queen is actually going for the wall. I was kind of like expecting it to some degree because the queen is so stupid. Oh my goodness. I mean, what is going on? Queen just walk around. But the queen is just way too lazy, I guess, and this is actually going to turn into a 1-star. We said it, it's going to be all or nothing attack, but with this 1-star and the 2-star starting things off, we now have a 3-star lead for the tank coming into the third attack of this match. And that's a lead which is hard to overcome, to be honest, at this point.
That is, yeah, you're kind of broken at that point. You know, the team's going to have to really press hard. They might feel slightly demotivated with this, and you know, I gotta say that's my fault for assuming that the queen would actually take the wall opening. Silly me. You know, we know how much she loves the wall, and I know how much you're waiting for a wall breaker queen skin to come, which would be pretty fitting. So. This does leave a pretty big gap between these two teams. It is a $200 difference overall. I think they'll still be happy to walk away with that, but the interesting thing is we don't know if they will be in that position. We're not sure how things are going to end up based on whether or not MS Esports are able to win first place. If MS Esports win first place, then there is a huge amount of shifting around, and one of these teams could be knocked out to a lower prize amount and have to do the play-ins rather than the playoffs. But let's see how PSW follows up for the Tang here, knowing that they have this massive lead. This is huge for them coming in, and he's opting to go for the super drags, but we've got some E-drags to help set up the pathing and funnel.
I love it. Going for the Nikita kill squad right there. Those surgical laser dragons are such a cool thing. They're typically really hard to pull off. The base really has to fit, and so far it looks great. But the question now is the one laser dragon actually going for the eagle? Because right now it looks like that he's skipping that eagle, so the eagle is going to stay alive. He did not find the entire left side, so the eagle is not going down. That's really unfortunate. Only the funnel got created. And now those super dragons have to somehow make that work with some of those runes going to the top side and should be taking down that eagle. But still, Town Hall has to be secured as well. And we have seen how bad that can turn out if you're not paying attention, if you're not forcing your heroes in accordingly. Because I'm still surprised that his team said yes to that plan from the attack which we just had. Because this one has at least the heroes on the Town Hall side. But still, it's looking rough for those super dragons right now.
It is. They're not in the core where we have the multi. The scatter shot still stands. The multi's not the biggest issue because heroes really can contend with that, but that scatter shot is the bigger problem, and we've got a very low health super drag in the core here, struggling to get through because of the air sweeper, but the blimp coming in is going to help out. And let's notice that we have the king ability, the queen ability, and the royal champ ability. So the royal champ really needs to cut across, but the defending heroes around this is what's going to hold it back potentially.
Yeah, and interesting enough, you had the back end blimp with those Yetis, which is not that common overall. Seeing the power of the heroes on the back end, trying to support that with some more tankiness. And even though the beginning with those laser dragons did not go according to plan, this looks like a done deal kind of with that Yak being alive as well and being able to open those walls. Maybe even with the king ability, that should be doable. The queen ability had to be used as well. The king is going for the wall. The queen is following up with that expo, and that should be the next ratio for Vatang. And at this point, they are out of reach, it feels. It is a huge lead already for Vatang and QDFan. Whew, this is looking rough to somehow come back from that.
It really is. It's a tough position knowing that you have the 3 stars rolling through that 98%. 1 stars are always, it's a killer, you know, it's a heartbreaker in those positions. Yes, we've seen 1-star wars turn around, but you often need to have defense after defense following or a big 1-star to help counter that. And that's the biggest problem, is seeing Vatang come in with a 1-star is not something that I would expect to see, especially knowing the advantage that they have. They just need to play it safe at this point with the advantage that they're holding on to, because they still hold on to a 2-star advantage in this match, even if QDFan pick up the 3-star next.
Yep, that's 100% true right there with the 2-star, even if they have 3-star. That's like really hard, like mindset wise, because put yourself into the position like you have to 3-star to be 2-star behind. Like just this mindset wise is really hard to overcome. Like if it's like, well, that's that big of a lead, it's really hard to not really to be able to catch up anyway. So it's hard. I really hope they have a motivation man in their lineup to somehow cheer up the team. But they have to hope for some great defenses from Vatang, which we have seen are sometimes happening, especially with those ring bases. So that can be possible for sure. But first of all, we have the next attack in with the Lalo with a Skelly Donut in the beginning.
Yeah, I love these Skelly Donuts in the openers, because it is risky. You don't get the value that you need, and then you have to adjust. And some people can, but some people can't. So we are going for that multi. We took it down. Single doesn't go down, though, which I guess isn't a deal breaker. But as long as that CC goes down, you're typically in a good spot. Battle Builder Hut repairing it. But we do have the blimp coming in to just make that pathing open and a join where we've already worked through. A little bit of the tornado trap kind of pulling things off track. And hold on, am I seeing sneaky goblins? No, they're not going. Oh, they are going for the storages. Oh, and they're hitting the giant bombs. Do we have enough power out of this? Do we have an invisibility spell? We do not. So a lot is going off track here. This is off the rails for Yang. And at this point, when you have to use a hero to try and come back from this, there's almost no turnaround.
Rip. And that's only because he was too greedy, to be honest, to go for the single Inferno Tower. Like, he got already the multi-Inferno Tower, he took down the Clan Castle, and then dropped the last invisibility spell to somehow take down the single Inferno Tower. If you would have saved that invisibility spell, you would have gotten that town, or things would have looked great. I mean, the single Inferno Tower in the core, yeah, it's nice to take it down, but at the same time, it's not giving you the greatest value, because it is just the single Inferno Tower, and that with Lalo, no one really cares too much about that. Now he has to send in every single hero pretty much, which was planned for the hero dive to take down the town hall, and things do not look great at all for him. And remember, they had to get the 2-star to be overall 2 stars close to Vatang, which so far doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, not being able to take down one of these quadrants, either the scatter shots or the eagle, really hurts on this one, because it creates a very heavy Lalo path that he has to create through. Plus, he's got to back end and cut through the base as well. You can already see the shifting air sweepers really doing some heavy damage. This could have been a good opening for the king and queen to come in to take on the air sweepers and really direct what these loons needed. So this is why we talk about difficult recoveries here. When this does happen, and only 28 seconds left to go, we know that even if there was power left, there's not going to be enough time in it to get this done.
Yeah, it feels like impossible at this point, not only to a 3-star, but as well to turn this match around, because after 3 attacks, they are going to be on this 5 stars overall, and that's with, facing a deficit of overall 3 stars, because Vatang is so far 2 out of 3, with having overall pretty impressive percentages. Like, their average destruction is 99.3%, and I mean, this 91% is not making things any better whatsoever for QDefense. So tough position to be in. It's not easy at all, but well, the tank for them, it's a nice match, I would say. Some nice more points as well for the leaderboards overall. But this match is looking rough. It's looking really rough.
It is, and QDefense should be a little bit nervous considering what could happen. We keep talking about this because the next match to come up, if MS Esports were to win, could affect QDefense's position in this. It could switch it around quite a bit, in fact, and or actually it might not. This won't affect it, is what I'm being told here. So we'll see what moves on. It would affect Black Magic within the ranking. So QDefense still okay where they're standing, but the rest could be very interesting. So QDefense is just going to wind up losing out a little extra money. But I'm surprised, you know, I'm honestly surprised it's here because the last time we saw QDefense, I think it was in the first qualifiers, they felt so solid. We saw like a lot of craziness coming in from them, and I'm surprised to see it seems like just not the same mindset that they had coming into this.
Or it's just the nerfed air attacks, who knows? Like a lot of teams abused the Super Dragons, which were quite OP, let's say it how it is. And a lot of teams who were relying on those, so they had the OP performance in the first qualifier where those Super Dragons were in, and I don't know. Let's see if it's going to be the same thing. This base as well should be a known one. I remember to watch Kazuma's YouTube video on how to beat that with Queen Judge Lalo, and he just swagged 1,000 spells again. So let's see how this is going to work with those super boaters coming in into one of those two scatter shots with the Eagle taken down early on, and things are looking good funnel-wise. So Warning is pushing in quickly and approaching that town hall with the Clan Castle troops coming out any second as well.
Yeah, so this is perfect timing for the Warden ability to clip off as he's making the pass over that, and the CC troops are being contended with. You can see that timing does clip the healers in as well, keeping them nice and safe through any potential traps that could be in the core. And the bowlers have made their way through the poison bomb. It's just a Queen here who's unfortunately, wait, no, it runs out. She actually stays out of line long enough and keeps that ability intact, and that's exactly what you want with these smash style attacks. It's holding on to your Queen ability as long as possible. This has a beautiful roundup across the base, working through the ring base very nicely, and a lot of power left for the Queen, especially now that a couple of healers have joined over. Ooh, maybe I spoke too soon. One healer has joined her. I'm gonna stop talking.
To be honest, I mean, to this point, the Flame Thinger was still alive, so even though now all of the healers of the Queen are down, with that rage now as well in, this should be a nice and easy 3-star for Warning. A really nice way on how to beat that base. Just a nice Warden walk, funneling this bottom side with the Flame Thinger, and then, well, just completely obliterating the base with those only 3 super bowlers. Like typically we see those 4 super bowler smash attacks with like a supportive Ice Golem or the supportive P.E.K.K.A. This time around though, he brought 2 P.E.K.K.A. and only 3 super bowlers, which is quite interesting, but they were totally enough to completely overpower this base and just power through the Town of Poison. That is so impressive to see that most of the attacks are really scared because of the Town of Poison. But just super bowlers, they're so tanky, they're just pushing through, they just don't care most of the time, and that's exactly what happened right there. And with that, we have the tank being 3 out of 4, 11 stars, and it kind of looks like that the tank, like score-wise, did already like 2 or 3 attacks too much compared to QDefense, but no, it's only 1 attack more because QDefense so far did not find a 3-star and unfortunately took a huge risk with one of their attacks falling short with a 1-star. So things are looking really good for the tank. QDefense really has to collect some more momentum and overall some more 3-stars maybe for their future matches, but right now it's not looking too hot for them.
It definitely isn't, but I think they'll be happy to know that they wind up staying in the playoff positions. That's a good, secure, and guarantee, because it means they don't have to fight until we determine who actually gets some of those last spots coming in for the play-ins for that last chance qualifier. So that's going to be the interesting one as well that I'm very excited for, is finding out who are going to be 5th through 8th in their positions for it. So we have Chen Rocking up here, I see some bats. I see, oh, yep, I see those invisibility spells. And he is, I mean, we talk about greedy. He is going for the multi, he is going for the CC, and he is going for that single targeting Inferno, but does it perfectly well to get all three combinations. So goes for the triad and gets it.
Yeah, really nicely done right there. And yeah, coming in now with that hero dive or something from the top side. It seems like Rocket Loons with a nice limb to take down that Town Hall. And the follow-up is good. Oh, Tornado Trap. Wait a second. Does he have the correct Clan Castle? There's the minion. Oh, no. Sneaky Goblins. He has one invisibility spell, but he's using it quite late. And with that, securing the Town Hall. You said it would have been again, because that was one of the fails already early on from them. So this time around, though, having the invisibility spell, saving it. But this means at this point, it's only a couple of spells left to support his heroes or the Dragon Riders.
Yeah, so we'll see how the heroes can do coming into this one. We've got the Queen working her way along with the Ice Golem to provide tank for her. We've got the Expo's long range reaching through, but we want to take that Eagle down. And I actually like that we have the Drag Riders already starting side by side to shape up the path for her. This is going to take on some damage, take it away from her, give her a little bit more ability to help out with this.
Yeah, and starting with the minions really early, right behind those Dragon Riders to make sure that time is not going to be a big factor. The Headhunter's just powering through right away with this rage. But the Sweeper is pushing those away from the Expo and from the Multi-Inferno Tower, so it really depends. A couple of Black Mines are connecting as well. Those Dragon Riders have to power through, but remember, not only the Dragon Riders got a couple of nerfs recently, but as well air defense buff and Black Mine buffs. That hurts those Dragon Riders quite a bit, so powering through, but those skeletons are hurting as well.
Yeah, but he's able to hold on so far, and with what he added in, he's able to keep the Queen, but she's on the opposite side of where she actually needs to be, so that means we've got to be through walls, and hopefully she can take the open path, but 35 seconds left to go isn't a lot of time with all these storages for her to get through. Let's see if she works on the outside edge. Minions working as fast as they can, but it's the Teslas that they have to worry about. The Drag Riders awarded need to take that down. Queen trying to help out as she can, but can she make it in time? There's no ability to pop off to get this done with 15 seconds left to go. They are focusing on the storages. Oh, we have a Barbarian back there behind the barracks, and that is going to give Chen the first 3-star on the board. So that is what they've been hoping to pull in to achieve, but they're still so far behind that there really is no way for them to try and recover unless we saw, like, I don't know, we would need carbon level Jinxery of like Rigo Torres being asleep or something along those lines.
Yeah, because I mean at this point, even only a 0-star pretty much with bad percentage could give them the comeback. So except we have the sleep curse again coming in. It's not going to happen, most likely. I really highly doubt that we're going to see a 0-star. So 1-star for the win. Not only 2 stars win wars, but as well 1-star win wars as well, apparently. So far the tank looking really strong. Getting back to their default stars, which is 14 stars. Like, that's the comfort zone for them. The only match where they were not able to achieve that was the match against MS Esports. And now we have Lance Loda, Queen Charge Lalo coming in, and he is going to walk around that Town Hall compartment with most likely a blimp for the Town Hall. There we go. Town Hall has to go down. No Black Mines just yet, but there's the Tornado Trap. Needs to be careful with that. What is in there? It's a safety blimp, it seems, but there's the minions already. The Headhunters already came out. Okay, those goblins take it down. The Queen ability is saved. That rage was last second.
Yeah, you know, that is, these players, they love to play it loose and risky with those Queen, the rages for the Queen. And the last thing that you want to do when you are going in with a charge is to have to force the ability too early, because as you push your Queen deeper inside the base, that's where you have a lot of defenses focusing and targeting on your Queen, and that's why you want to reserve it. Drops the invisibility spell even, but it's not enough to save it. So Gonna have to keep raging her along. Want to see that king trying to tank for the scatter shot, trying to take off some of the heat from the queen, and she still has to contend with the single up top. But taking off the expo does alleviate some of the pressure, and 2 rages left, plus a freeze or 2. She will be able to get through the center of the space.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping for seeing the wall break for the multi-inferno tower, but the wall breaks are now kind of late. But the queen inside the core, it's not looking too bad, but there's a lot of damage versus that queen. The multi-inferno tower, though, has to go down soon. The skeletons are distracting the queen quite a bit. She's like flipping around and shooting every single direction. But with that ward ability, the multi-inferno tower finally goes down. The queen ability not there anymore, which means this queen is going down as well. But the healers are switching over, so we have a Royal Champion charge now in place.
And that's going to help out quite a bit on the back end of this, though the loons seem to be carrying it on their own. There's also 3 extra loons that can be brought in for some back end support. We can see coming in for the cannon. Another place could be for the battle builder hut, and also helping to distract that wizard tower as the loons start clumping up together, because once they're clumped up and they're not spread out, it's where you run the risk. There's no more spells to worry about, but this Royal Champ ability could carry that through easily. She's popping in, actually distracting it herself, and these loons are going to be just fine. We've got Lanzlata coming in with that final 3-star, and that is putting Vatang with the 14 stars on the board and claiming 3rd place here in the 3rd qualifier. So this is going to be a nice chunk of change for them. Congratulations. We still have 1 more attack left to go from QD Fen. So let's see how they finish off, but we do know that they will wind up being in 4th place.
Yeah, I actually think, do we have, like, where do we have the tank sitting right now, like, point-wise? Because I feel like they were really high as well, right? Like, they should be pretty safe already in the playoffs. Point overall, I'm not sure, but they should be really close. Okay. So they were, so in 2nd place. Okay, so yeah, production our ear telling us right behind Queen Walkers. So the tank should be safe as well overall for those playoff spots. I mean, taking a look at overall their performance, and especially they're so consistent. We have seen a lot of teams who are like having ups and downs and good matches, bad matches, non-stop in between. But the tank, except this one match, nearly always super consistent, getting those 14 stars on the board, which is really, really impressive. So looking forward to see how they can work around in that. Wait a second. Did both teams activate this base? That is so funny. We just had Vatang coming in, I think, with BSW. I think, no, it was Warning, I think, with the Super Bonus match obliterating this base. And now we have Kelvin from QDFan as well attacking this base with the Queen Charge, Dragon Rider Lalo. That is kind of funny, I have to admit. So both teams have this base as friendly challenge, which means the tank successfully did that. But at the same time, I hate attacking those bases because you can only mess up. Like, if Kelvin now is not going to 3-star, he is having the bad day, because I mean, this was a friendly challenge base and the meta is already so easy, so why can't you not a 3-star friendly challenge base? So it's really unforgiving, let's put it that way. So let's see if he's going to somehow finish the job and getting this 3-star done. So far it's looking good. Clancaster is coming out a little bit.
I mean, at this point, just go back, look at the raid, and say, okay, let's do exactly what the tank did and get the 3-star to finish this off. But going with a different option for this, we do have the Queen on her path leading towards that town hall. The Flame Flinger trying to keep it on course, but we've yet to drop the King actually in this one. And we've got the opening set up. Nice drop of the invisibility spell to get that Queen forced inside the base. So we are seeing some differences of thought process in doing this. And that's the one thing to keep in mind. You know, there's many different ways that you can go about the same base and maybe still pick up the 3-star. I don't want to jinx it just yet, but definitely able to secure a beautiful opener on this.
Yeah, things are looking good so far. Testa farm this time around, though, it seems to be as well again on this 3 o'clock side. Royal Champion, though, inside that single Inferno Tower range, so Royal Champion is barely surviving, but the Queen now is inside the single Inferno Tower range as well. But things are looking not too bad if the Tesla farm is going down, but with this base being so open, we can see all of those openings in the core, making sure that there's no wall breakers possible, which is typically a true nightmare to attack with Queen Charge. This means obviously that the Queen can reach everything, can really easily get into the back end if time could be an issue, but with the freeze, with the back end troops coming in, this should be a nice and easy pickup. And Cutie Fan, Calvin, getting the job done with the friendly challenge attack right here. Both teams actually getting the 3-star on this base. And yeah, that's actually really funny that both teams decided to run this base.
Yeah, and convincingly. I mean, you saw that king ability lasting right to the very end. So a nice way to finish off. Not their war today, but they do wind up securing their spot in the playoffs. So I think they're very, very happy here. Vitang also in a good position to stay in those playoffs. And they'll wait patiently to see who is going to wind up going up against, well, who they'll be playing with in which spots. And that's going to be fun for the last chance qualifiers. So we can take a quick look at the bracket to talk about the match that we have coming up next and kind of what it means for the LCQs. So looking at this, obviously we know that Vitang has won 3rd place, Cutie Fen in 4th place. This makes a difference in the prize pool amount, but they all do secure a spot in the playoffs ultimately. MS Esports and Queen Walker Stephanie we're going to watch next, but the scenario with MS Esports is they came into this one, and now that if they wind up in first place, the Black Magic, they would have to face off against because they wind up tying. And that would mean they are going for 4th seed. So we can see here, there's a lot of different scenarios. And I mean, we don't want to bore you too much with it, but MS Esports really throws a wrench for so many people. I guess if they wound up in 2nd, it would also matter for Marcos Gaming because it would be tied for 5th seed. So this could switch up a lot of things. If indeed we do see MS Esports getting the 1st place spot, we would watch the Black Magic War for 4th seed because that actually depends for the playoffs position. If they were to get 2nd place, that would be done on a separate day, and they would face off against Marcos Gaming. You can keep up to date with the ClashMSTRS on Twitter, on social media for that information, but that would mean a difference for Marcos Gaming in this. And the reason why this is so important is because the seeding that we have here, 5th through 8th, is different this year. We actually have 5th through 8th that get the schoolyard pick, and they go straight into the play-ins, where everyone else is going to have a final bracket round in the last chance qualifiers to actually play. So teams like Tribe Gaming, Chasmic Gaming, Strut, Tomp and I, teams that aren't in this, still have the opportunity to try and get in. But if anybody gets bumped off of this, they can also get their chance back through.
That's right. So I think we are ready to hype up the next match because, I mean, that's already enough hype, right? Because we just see the rosters and we're already, okay, this match is going to be insane. MS Esports, we know those names with Nachoa, Kingsman, Cynthia, Ariam, and Alec. They are well known, they are insane, and I cannot wait to see if they're actually going for this 1st seed. And being able to tie or like get into the tiebreaker match versus Queen Walker Stephanie. And well, I think we have the next match already really close on our hands, and I cannot wait to get into the first couple of attacks because those two teams are both so incredible. So starting things off, we should be really close to our first attack already. And there we go. MS Esports, Kingsman are starting things off, and take a look at that. Queen Walker Stephanie have changed their bases as well. We are now seeing anti-2-star bases from them as well. And I already see, just from like thinking about it, how would I attack this base on Legend? I already get a headache, so I don't want to attack those bases. It feels so annoying. The double single Inferno Tower in the core, all of those openings making things really annoying. But wait a second, this tornado trap right there, he did not get a lot of value. Is this already enough for him, or did he hope for a bit more?
Yeah, and we have over in YouTube a poll up just asking who's the winner of Qualifier 2? Who do you think is going to get the first place? So do you think it's going to be MS? Do you think we're going to see the switch up, or do you think Queen Walkers will get it? So get your votes in. Let us know what you think in this. But Queen is trying to work along, obviously not able to get the value intended to get deeper inside the base. But if we look at the 3 o'clock opening, we do have the channel for the Queen to work through to get into the core. We just need that we need the King and potentially the Royal Champ to set up a nice line drive and funnel for her. King's got the opening to the outside chamber, but we need to work on the inside if there are possible Teslas. Queen should walk in, but if there were a Tesla or two, could distract her to the outside edge. King's doing enough work here to seem to keep us along.
And especially this one headhunter was so nicely placed to keep that old Queen alive, and especially the Queen ability intact to not force a raid too early. And this Queen now is running this maze into the core of the base, taking down that Town Hall next. The Lalo starting from the far right side. He did not invest the Warden with the King, which means he can have even more power with this Lalo. Royal Champion is in the mix as well. That's something which a lot of people like to run. Now the Headhunters are in there as well. With that Royal Champion, should be able to take down that defending King really easily. But wait a second, that Queen is under a lot of fire. She needs to survive. That would be great because she would take down the defending Queen as well. But oh my goodness, there's still a lot of defense left alive.
Yeah, he's been using those invisibility spells to keep her going, forces the ability, freezes up the single and the Queen and that wizard tower. This keeps the loons also, most of them, out of the way of those traps in the core of the base. And this could be the saving factor, but there's only 23 seconds left to go. But we've got the Royal Champ up. We've got the loons working together. Queen's on the outside of the base here. Just has to work her way down to the storages. And it is a done deal for the 3-star to kick this off. Minions are already pinging away. So we've got a 3-star start for Kingsman of MS Esports. And it's nice to see the variety that he's coming in with. I mean, obviously Kingsman has made a name for himself with the hybrid. He's now been switching over quite a bit to Hogs, but showing his exemplary power with Lalo as well. It's all about the Queen charges, you know? When you can Queen charge, you really can do anything, though I say that and Lalo's just it's a beast of its own to actually really be able to work it. It's one of the most difficult style of attacks because of the precision you need in placement and also the timing of the actual spells using with the Lalo portion.
Yeah, I feel like especially combine the Queen charge with Lalo makes it so much harder because a lot of Queen charge follow-ups are pretty much spam and pray to some degree, where it's like, for example, Hog Riders, you put all of them in right away, right? If it's hybrid, you put everything in right away. If it's Dragon Riders, you put everything in right away. Most of the cases, which means there's not that much multitasking going on. But with, for example, then Queen Charge Lalo, you have to do a lot of multitasking with the Lalo itself. And now, speaking of Queen Charge Lalo, Gaku so far always did Queen Charge Lalo, switching now though to the Queen Charge Hydra onto this base right here from Cynthia, trying to charge into that core. And with that Roger ability, you should be able to create the funnel needed.
Yeah, so Royal Champ just missing out on that Wizard Tower, but it's nice when you can get down those splash items, but the Queen's got the opening and compartment to get in as the King forces her along in there by taking on the Eagle section of this base. Needs to drop that rage. You know, we talk about these risky players with how they drop their rages, but when you're multitasking, it's not always as easy. Has a beautiful opening leading into the Town Hall, very similar to what we just saw coming into this, different kind of approach as well. So we do have to rely on this Hydra now to cut through the base, but the Queen will still be able to carry on. He's got an invisibility spell to keep her alive through this and one additional rage, though you could save that rage for these drags and drag riders. So I think the Stone Slimer is going to provide enough tank.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that he actually brought the Dragon and Dragon Riders to the mix in this one and not the Lalo, because, I mean, for sure, after this Queen Charge, you could think about doing a Lalo attack after that. So interesting that he decided against it, maybe because of so many back-end heroes with the Royal Champ, with the Queen, and if there's any skeleton spring traps, he could run the risk of losing his Headhunter. So instead, he's relying on the troops, taking it out, and so far, it's paying off big time. Gaku with his Queen charges is just unstoppable. Queen still with her ability, using that now to speed things up, and that's so cool. And that's to me another mindset difference between the teams who are trying to swag, between the teams who are using everything which can speed up the time and make sure that they are making good use of that. For example, the invisibility spell, I don't think that he could have used that to speed things up, but making sure he uses the Queen ability to speed things up, because so far both of those teams starting with 3 stars, but I think the attack from Gaku was a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I like to see the motivation between these two teams. Now, one thing we should point out is in the previous match, Queen Walkers had the PW. We'll leave it at that. But we've seen the consistency between these two teams of 14-star wars. And that's actually really impressive that we're seeing so many high-scoring wars. So this is a very equally matched setup here. I think any given day you can see MS Esports also coming in with a PW. I don't dare say it, but it just makes the stakes that much higher. And we're talking about $1,000 difference in pricing in where they wind up situated, though. If we can get confirmation, what's the scenario if Queen Walkers, because of the tie situation, would MS change anything in a second position plays? We'll wait to see on confirmation on that, because it's $2,500 for first place and $1,500 for second place.
Yeah, like except the prize money, the change for MS Esports would be way bigger than for Queen Walkers, because for MS Esports, it would be the difference between straight right away top 4 spot, where they could go with the tiebreaker match, or actually fighting for the 5th seed. So there's actually a big difference, because only the top 4 are getting right into the playoffs. So for MS Esports, it's a big deal. For Queen Walkers, they are already first, like they're already first seed. Right away. So for them, it's just like to make sure that the other team is not going to get into the top 4, which to some degree as well is then making your life easier, because you can really argue MS Esports right now being one of the best teams out there. And we have the next attack starting in with some Electro Dragon action onto this, again, anti-2-star base, and really Queen Walkers definitely are bringing out the anti-2-star bases. Really interested in the decision making, why so far they use anti-3-star bases when they apparently have the possible bases for anti-2, and so far MS Esports really had a lot of success with those type of bases. So let's see, a lot of red bombs. Oh, but the town hall should fall, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, Town Hall just about to go down, and it looks like these E-Drags might stay away from the poison bomb. They're just on the cusp, and as I speak, they walk right, or fly right through it. But we do have the Royal Champ coming in to help out for that single, which is going to roast this Queen. So Pop's the ability to take down that AD, take care of some of the cleanup. We still have the King working through, but he's losing that power through his ability. Warden's going to help out. But when we look at what's left over, we're not talking about having scatter shots and single targeting infernos, just this ground bow, and the Royal Champ's got her Seeking Shield. So this is done. We've got trip after trip after trip coming in. Neither of these teams wants to give up. And look at the time factor. I mean, 1:26 left over on the clock here. Super lightning speed with those E-Drags.
Yeah, really, really quick. Like those Super Dragons, Electro Dragons, overall those Dragon type of attacks are incredible quick. Normally, we saw that with Sincera Prayer, who just set up record after record for himself over the qualifiers with how quickly he can completely smash those maxed out bases. Now we saw Alec coming in with those as well. As I have said in the first attack, those two teams know each other. They know what they're capable of, which means both are probably counting for like the perfect war, kinda. And yes, I said the name. It's okay. Let's see. I would like to have this getting decided on the stars instead of the time. I mean, I have to say I'm not a fan of this time factor because it's favoring spam. So I would love to at some point that getting changed, but overall.
Wait, hold on, because we've got a discussion here. We've got a discussion about spam. This has been going on for quite some time. I mean, so there is spam where, you know, you kind of spray and pray. Do you really consider drag style attacks spam where you still have to go in with a multi-phase and funnel? Like, this is a big topic of the discussion in Clash of Clans, that the term spam has been used for certain style attacks that still are multi-phase and do require funneling sections. So what is your concept on that? I mean, I know it means that you have to use more drag attacks, like you're kind of forced into a certain style. Is that more how you see it, or do you consider drag spam?
I think if you drop everything in the first 10 seconds, then to me that is kind of spam, yes. I mean, it's not anything bad or whatever. Like, you can totally do that. That's no problem. You should never listen to anyone if you have success with something. It could be, in theory, the worst strategy out there. That's no problem. Still, if you have success with it, use it. Make sure that you're having fun with it. That is no problem whatsoever. But as well, I don't even use the term spam in a negative way, but that's just like how those type of attacks are getting used, right? Like, he plays everything in the first 10 seconds, like Illic did. Like, he plays his heroes right away. He plays his dragons right away in the beginning, and he was pretty much done with the attack. So that, to me, yes, indeed, is spam. Obviously, you can use every single strategy out there in different ways and make it multi-phase and everything. So it's just like making sure that people know what type of attack this was, because again, you can use dragons in surgical way and everything. So yeah, that's really dependent overall. But we see the next attack coming in, which is a Blizzard Lalo attack from Stars, coming in with the Blizzard Blimp right next to that Queen with a wall break to get that scatter shot as well, and not only the multi-inferno tower.
Yeah, and he's just on the cusp there, gets it taken down, multi's going down, so we've got some beautiful value, plus the extra bonus of pulling out that CC. So we get the lure to an outside edge. Queen is able to take it on with limited to no damage now on her. The Unicorn helping her out. She's already dealing with the Hound, so we want her to keep focused, but we've got the poison spell down that's going to slow the effects of the Ice Golem and the pups, get them knocked down quickly. So this is actually going to help out quite a bit.
Yes, for sure. Nicely taken down of that Hound, but it's already 1 minute gone overall. So he needs to make sure that time is not going to be a problem at the same time. I mean, as I said, I try to go in with, there's a lot of tests. I tried to go in with Blizzard Lalo as well myself after watching the attacks of Stars, but the amount of multitasking which he's doing and starting his Lalo even at the point where his heroes are even at the beginning kinda, is really impressive. So let's see how good this is going to work. While his heroes are really struggling against this Tessa farm, but the funnel is set, the Queen is going in, and the Lalo now, as I said, the town, I would wait until the town was down, right? Like, I would wait until the town was down to make sure that I do not miss the Queen ability, but he's already halfway through with his Lalo. This is just insane, the multitasking and everything, making sure that he's doing everything at the same time. Now the Warden ability to catch everything, even protect the Royal Champ. That's just awesome. That's really, really impressive, and it's not easy to do.
Yeah, we talk about players that are built different, and Stars is one of those players. He has no fear whatsoever, knows his way around these Lalos. And this is why, you know, I think people are excited to see that we have a nice variety. We're not only just seeing Lalo. I think that's the unfortunate thing when you have only one troop kind of one army composition being used. But when you get to see the variety, you can really appreciate the exceptional power that some of these players have, like Stars with their Lalo, when you're seeing in comparison with like these hog attacks we've been seeing, the super buller smashes, even these fast-paced electro drag attacks. And this is absolutely stunning. So Stars coming in with another 3-star on the board here. So we are tied up, MS Esports and Queen Walker Stephanie, both 2 for 2. And it's a game of chicken now, you know? It's like, who's going to break first? Who's going to be the first one to drop the ball, have a little bit of a shaky hand, miss something, or get baited? Really, you know, we haven't really seen too many baits lately.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? We have seen a couple of baits versus Vatang when we saw the match MS Esports versus Vatang, but that's always the crazy thing. Like, when people are saying that Tournament 14 is way too easy and things like that, they probably relate to matches like these, where those two teams are probably top 3, top 5 something of the teams in the world right now. But if they take a look at the matches which we had before, which we had a couple of like 10 stars, 11 or 12 stars from time to time. So it's easy to always pick like the best matches where the hit rate shines. So overall, we can always see that, especially after the balance changes, I feel like that we see more 1-stars overall. And especially we see from time to time as well some lower scores. So let's see, as I said, who is going to be the first team who is failing in this one, because both teams are just so freaking good at what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think they've really waited with these bases. They brought the right bases today. They've been patient in what they're showcasing, and also trying not to showcase too much to give any leader advantage of what they were going to come in with today. So again, we see these anti-2-star bases that you've been talking about that, you know, I don't think you were exactly expecting to see. And do you think that this is brought in for the reason of trying to trip up for the 1-stars?
I mean, I feel like already a 2-star is enough most of the time for those top teams if it's defending. The reason for this is why I feel like, just from seeing those bases, why I'm such a fan of them is, if you fail, typically it's a kind of low percentage 2-star. If you fail on an anti-3-star base, most of the time it's still like 90% or something. So the 2-star is not as much worth, if you want to say it like this. So having a defense with a ring base, with an anti-2-star base, is way more successful. But yes, I can totally see that if it's a 3-star, most of the time those ring bases, they're getting obliterated. Like, they're getting completely overkill. Like, if you get the funnel right, follow your queen into the core, the base is just dead. But if you don't get that queen into the core, that's where it's getting interesting. Because then things are looking completely different. But so far, the queen is in the core, and the Lalo is looking good.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case here, because Nachoa is working through this exceptionally well, and that is great timing for the Warden ability, carrying these loons through not only the Skelly traps and the air traps that crop up, but the multi-targeting Inferno. Queen able to survive. Healers, though, still going strong and able to keep her with the ability intact for the scatter shot, but we are starting to lose out loons. So the back end of the space is all about the king and that Royal Champ. Royal Champ, as you're seeking shield, she's low health, but we get that, like, it's almost like 75% regenerative boost. So it is done. 3 for 3. MS Esports, like, they're coming in with this with no fear against Queen Walker Stephanie, the twice vice world champions of 2020 and 2021. We're talking about a big name team here that everybody knows, that you see featured on YouTube all the time, and MS Esports, who are part of the family. Let's actually talk about, because you see the MS in the name of the Queen Walker Stephanie team. A lot of people I see asking in chat, why do they say MS? And that is because it's part of Stephanie and Mushtaba as their sponsors, just different teams. So this is kind of like a family rivalry, though they are completely separate teams. They have their own agendas that they want to get the win, but there is zero fear that it feels like is coming out today from MS Esports.
Yeah, but I mean, so far both teams are putting on a show. We see no one is holding back, but I feel like as well, like, being under the same organization, I think it's kind of interesting, because you're always fighting for, like, or fighting against each other to, like, who is the better team within the organization, right? Like you're fighting with your little brother, or I don't know, like, just like doing those friendly banters overall, and seeing who's the better team in general than within the family. So let's see who that better team is today. And who can actually beat the other team. But so far, MS Esports looking incredible. But as for Queen Walkers as well, like, showing no weakness whatsoever so far in their offense. We should see Kazuma in next. I have to say, I'm a huge Kazuma fanboy because of his Queen Charge and everything. And he's having the Queen Charge Dragon Rider this time around, though, cooked up. So let's see how he's going to approach this base from Ariam, which again is looking like one of those annoying ring bases. And he is coming in with the Blimp to take down the multi and the Warden and the air defense, as it looks like.
And so the Yeti raged up, ready to go to clear this out. We also get, again, we talk about the added bonus of pulling out the CC. That's a really nice opportunity to clean it up, clear it out. I am surprised to see Kazuma coming in with the Drag Riders because he's known for his Lalo, so we'll see how he does on the strategy. The Ice Golems typically tend to try and hold back the Queen here. But when we have them in 3, so this, you know, could slow it down. I don't suspect it's an issue because we've got it perfectly timed. We've got the poison to hold this over. So definitely a great use and opener within this one. And we've got the king that's going to actually help shape up the force for this queen to work deeper inside the space as he works along the outside edge.
Yeah, the queen pushing in further and further. He has one wall breaker with him, but he has a jump spell. Like, I feel like, especially with those ring bases where there are so many openings, like, if you're wondering now in the chat, why are there so many openings? We can see it at the top side, we can see it on the 9 o'clock side, around that air defense on the right side as well. Like, there's so many openings in the walls, and the reason is to completely mess up the wall breakers, where they're going, where they're trying to go, what their plans are. You try to mess that up with those opening walls, and the queen typically is just randomly running around then without any control. You really need to make sure that the queen is going in the right direction. And those jump spells are helping quite a lot. So that's like the secret behind this. And that's the reason why they're going for this. But so far, the attack is looking really good with the queen having a straight path now to the second multi-inferno tower, with a scatter shot even getting tanked for 1 or 2 shots by this Dragon Rider.
Yeah, this is coming in nicely with that loon sneaking over, but we've got the red air bombs, knocks it down, and the scatter shot stands. Queen just forcing through that ability and is not going to be able to come in, but we still have some backup from the Drag Riders. 3 left to go. The Warden actually still has his tome to hold them through the back end of the base, keeping them nice and safe as they work along. We still have a freeze. We can hold off the Expo. We've got the Wizard Tower to worry about. Do we even have the Electro Owl left? Yes, we do. So we can get some chain. Wait, I thought the Queen died out. Hold up. She is still alive and helping this one. And Kazuma able to come in by the skin of his teeth with this Queen Charge Drag Rider. Absolutely exceptional. We've got Itsu, another 3-star on the board. We are 9-9, still tied up. No one is cracking on this one.
It's insane. I mean, we have talked about it that this matchup is probably one of the coolest matchups of this qualifier because both teams are so incredibly good. And I mean, both are running the anti-2-star bases to somehow see the other team messing things up and getting a low percentage 2-star defense, or some defense in any way, actually, at this point. But so far, both teams are looking strong. And just those queen charges are incredible, with always controlling the queen, going the right way, using the jump spell there from Kazuma. And I mean, now the ball is back to the MS side, because they need to make sure that they can continue their 3-star streak.
Yeah, MS is ahead on average time right now. We know we talked about that a little bit before. So that's something that they could keep in the back of their heads, but I think you already jinxed it already. We're not going to see the PW happen anyway. We know this, Itsu. This is your fault. We're putting the blame on you. Let's see what Arium can do. Arium, we get to see MS esports kind of switching it up here and there. Arium coming in with the 4th attack, and we've got the Blizzard down deep inside the space, going for the Town Hall. And did we happen, I was going to say, did we happen to have the combination of those super archers in there? But I don't believe so. Just a nice push coming through. That is what I've been enjoying seeing, is a few of these teams actually benefiting from the clone super archer Blizz, which has been very nice. But this is some nice value in the entry.
Yeah, he has a lot of value with that entry, but at the same time, you have to remember, he invested the Warden for it. So as long as he's going to take down those double multi-inferno tower setups, I think he should be looking fine, but he needs to get those. Otherwise, playing Lalo through the multi-inferno tower without having the Warden ability, or even the Warden aura, is sometimes a big problem. So now, the headhunters died out, so there's no more headhunters to take down the Queen. The Queen Oh no, don't go back into the poison. Run out of the back out of the poison, queen, please. Thank you. And now the Lalo is coming in from the far right side with so far nothing really being able to target that queen. And she can deal quite a bit of damage over there when those pups are not taking her out too quickly.
Yeah, Queen's looking in a good spot to take care of the cleanup, even cutting across actually to help out with the defenses in this Lalo portion. Defending Queen just standing by a thread, and we've got this beautiful push coming in. Queen's going to be able to help out with the ability. We also have an invisibility spell that can help coming in through the back end of the base, especially if the loons stay clumped up. If they're not spread out and around, we can drop them in front of the wizard tower to try and give them a little extra hope on this one because the queen is low. I'd worry, and I'm surprised he's not using it yet, so maybe just waiting for the queen instead.
Yeah, trying to protect the queen right there, and we have to say
nice
they
value.
need to make sure that they're having a quick time as well, because so far again both teams are perfect. Queen Walker Stephanie now need to tie things up again. MS Esports non-stop putting up the pressure on the Queen Walkers team, and with that now we have Klaus next for Queen Walkers hitting next. And I mean, we have seen then Utah coming in last for the Queen Walker team, but he from time to time as well is playing sometimes a dragon type of attacks, which he might need to switch to if the time is keeps staying in favor of the MS Esports guys, because Klaus is not the quickest attacker. He likes his 1 million stage attacks, right? Like his hero dive into the next thing, into the next thing, into the next thing, where it takes his time. Like he takes his time. He's having those crazy creative plans, but they're not too quick typically. So maybe Utah is just getting forced into some type of dragon attack in general. So let's see how the pressure is going to work over there. But Klaus needs to 3-star first, and then we can talk about the time again.
Yeah, Klaus, we saw absolutely dominate the last attack, but with time being in favor of MS Esports, you're right. But Klaus and Yuta are two Lalo hitters, so that's where, I mean, we can see fast Lalos. I've seen Tryhard come in with some exceptionally fast Lalos that, you know, I'm always impressed by. But I don't, like you said, I think Klaus is going to be the bigger issue for them, but we haven't seen Synthé attack yet as well. I think he's the last to hit for MS Esports, and it'll be interesting to see what his choice is going to be to come in with, especially because we know he loves a Skelly Donut. If his hands are shaking, if he knows it's tied up, is that going to put more pressure on him to do that Skelly Donut, because it's all about execution and placement and timing. We hardly see him fail it, but we have on occasion, and it does make for a really interesting finish here if at first we actually see Klaus pick up this 3-star. So that's what we're waiting to see right now, is Klaus to come in, what combination he decides to go with. And yes, indeed, we've got the Queen Charge Lalo. We know this is his poison of choice. And lining this up to get that queen working through. We've got one super wall breaker to get into the initial layer, but then we can jump her deeper inside the core of that base, but we will need the king to actually work his way through. And it actually looks like we might be wall breaking the king to get in here.
Yeah, that's one option. The other option is to now break the queen into the clan castle right there. I think that should work. But overall, I think there's a lot of possibilities now. We can use the jump for the queen. He can use the jump for the king. Let's see what the choice is going to be at the end. But he needs to make sure that his queen ability is staying intact, because I feel like otherwise this could be problematic overall, because he's about to engage versus so much damage. There's a double X-bow, the wardens on the right side as well, and there's the double scatter shot. So there's going to be a lot of damage, and he has only one last rage at this point, because he's bringing the jump, the wall break coming in as we thought about into the clan castle, which means the jump spell could be placed for the king to get the king into maybe the multi-inferno tower, for example. So let's see if it's going to be used in that way or any other scenario. Maybe it was just like a backup plan, who knows. But so far, the king taking down the queen is a great thing. No jump needed for him. The question now is, where is that jump coming in place, or is that jump even intended to be there?
I'm expecting for the loons, honestly, Fitzu.
Oh no, the random eagle. I freaking hate that so much. The eagle is on those healers, and that's the worst thing possible. Healers are gone. And that's now really bad news for him. The Queen is locking onto the scatter shot first. Scatter's down. The Town Hall should be next. He needs to maybe freeze that now. But he has only one freeze left. The Queen, is she going to take it down? Yes! Town Hall is down. That was huge. But still, the Town Hall is struggling quite a bit. And I still don't know, was it from the last attack or what exactly is the reasoning behind this jump?
Yeah, you know, like you said, it could have been a backup plan. But imagine if he had 2 invisibility spells in place of this, or, you know, to help out, or even a freeze, an extra freeze that he could have used for the Eagle. But is it actually going to make a difference? We've got 31 seconds left to go. Loons are finishing up the cleanup here. We've got the distractionary Loons for that air defense and to take out the cannons. They're split up. 2 freezes that he can swag. Maybe he just brought it in for the swag. If he can clean this, we've got that storage where the minions are trying to ping away. 13 seconds, it's low. A split here from the Loons would be exceptional, but I don't see it happening. And we've been talking about the first team to break. Is it going to be Queen Walkers? It is not. Just getting that 3-star in. Klaus keeps Queen Walkers Stephanie now in a position that MS Esports really they have to come in strong here with that final attack. It's like all or nothing. All or nothing.
But what did he do? He like trolled on so many levels. First off, why the jump spell? Like, why? And then why didn't he use the freeze? Like, he could have frozen for the last couple of Loons. If this would have turned out to be a 99 or something, this would be only on him. And I don't know, that was just strange to see, like not investing anything for the back end. Yeah, surprising right there. Luckily getting this 3-star in the end. But now MS Esports being next with their attack. And they said it, they need to 3-star to make sure that they're keeping up the pressure. And well, that's their best chance of 3-star of winning this match, I guess. And Cynthia is coming in. We have said it. They're now having to look for time. And Cynthia is coming in with the Inferno Dragons. Which, well, first off, he has a 3-star, but if he 3-stars, then I think they're out of range for Queen Walker Stephanie to catch them with this time problem.
Yeah. So we've got the Stone Slammer taking the lead here, working very nicely, especially with that Warden ability. It keeps it diving deeper inside the base, but we've got to get to this Town Hall. We do have the Inferno Drags and Drag Riders working their way in, but it looks like they could potentially split. We've got 1, 2 of the Inferno Drag Riders coming through, freezing it up, trying to give it the opportunity to go down. It's these Inferno Drags that really need to do the work, and only 1 here focusing on it. It's not going down. Synthé, wait, it's not going down. It's hanging on, and we've got the Battle Builders there. We need the Royal Champ in fast. Is she on the board? She's already on the board. Launches that Seeking Shield, trying to give it a boost. Gets it taken down. Is he going to be able to pick up the 3-star with that Queen ability? There's time on the board. It's just what's remaining with the Skelly spell down. You want to talk about recovery here. That is what we have on our hands, Itsu.
Yeah, that's going to be the triple most likely right there for Cynthia. And with that time, I don't think they are within the range of like Queen Walkers more likely is not in the range within being able to recover this, because the attack of Klaus as well was though so slow at the end. So this should be the win for MS Esports actually. I think we're going to hear for confirmation from the production in just a second, but overall 3-star now for Cynthia right here with again around about 50 seconds left in the end on the clock. And that means 15 stars. Perfect war right here for MS Esports after getting 14 in their last match.
Okay. I take my words back, Itsu. I apologize sincerely here on broadcast. I am sorry I said that you would jinx this perfect war. You did not. We do have our perfect war, but will we get the double perfect war is a question. We have not seen a double perfect war. That's what we want to know. What say you?
I mean, let's see, but I don't know. I think it really depends on. I feel like even the time, like even the time is not going to be enough. So even if it's going to be perfect, it's going to look cool. But at the same time, I feel like time is not going to be like this. Needs to be like a 1 minute attack or something. So I think this is out of reach anyways. So Queen Walkers is most likely going to finish second. Even with the 3-star, and MS Esports is going to most likely coming in with the tiebreaker match then again to make sure that, well, they have a chance for the top 4.
That just means more Clash action for you guys. And that would mean that MS Esports are going to face off against the Black Magic. And that is for 4th seed to see who actually would remain and who would get bumped down into it. So that actually is a huge difference between the play-ins and the play-offs in that matchup. But what I want to see is how Yuta's going to finish strong on this one. And I feel like you already set the challenge there. 1-minute attack to try and change this around. Is that what you're doing?
I mean, let's see. We see Yuta coming with the Electro Dragons. That's what he has to do to somehow save Queen Walkers in this one. Not only 3-star, but as well 3-star quick. Like I said, 1 minute is the goal. And well, we have the warn ability early on. That's how you play Electro Dragons. No rages yet. Where are the outside rages? There's the first one. There's the second one. Nice. But we remember as well, the majority of those black mats were around this bottom side. We remember where we had the tank coming in with the queen charge. And that queen charge was completely baited. The first freeze is in place. The Electro Dragons are coming in close. And I mean, so far, this looks really good. I don't know if Yuta is practicing Electro Dragons secretly, but he's not hitting the freeze on the air sweeper, but come on, he's right now on a 45 seconds and the base is pretty much gone.
It is, and you know, he heard you say the minute mark. He's not gonna quite make it, but look at this, just about 2 minutes here, and the base is 80% down. That is exceptional, and you know, he chose the right one to try and speed this up and get their first place position. But MS Esports had the lead, and I think if we are correct, I don't know if we got the full confirmation from production, but after this attack ends, we will definitely confirm to let you know either way. So Royal Champion taking this on, and you know what? We did not jinx a double perfect war. You guys just got to witness MS Esports and Queen Walkers finishing off with 15 stars each. You talk about a heck of a war. These two teams definitely rocking it through. So we're waiting for confirmation on time to see who is going to actually take first place here. And if it's MS Esports, then it would mean that we get an extra match.
Yeah, I still think just based on the time, I think none of the MS Esports attacks was like super close. They always had a couple of more seconds left in the tank, while the majority of Queen Walker's attacks were kind of close on time to some degree. So let's wait to what the seconds actually say in the end and who had the faster time. But it's 15-15. I mean, that's crazy. We tried to not jinx it, and it happened. 15-15. That's the first time, I think, for the ClashMaster qualifiers, right?
Yeah. So MS Esports actually does. Yeah, they do hold that lead. Look at that, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. That's impressive. But you know what? Queen Walker Stephanie wasn't too far off. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. That is, I mean, in any war, that is impressive. But it's not often that you get to see that 2 minute 16 second mark for teams. And in a perfect war, that's exactly where we are. I mean, you called it about the use of E-drags, or, you know, super drags to come in to the end of the attacks, because that's where it makes a difference when you're tied up like this. But we still get to see some incredible performances. Of course, Klaus's is definitely one of the most memorable ones. that we have, and I absolutely loved it. So I think he did that only to leave you up at night sleeping, thinking, why the jump? It's who's going to be up tonight thinking about that. So I know I know that we were talking about doing this extra match, this bonus match coming through, but unfortunately an emergency came up, and one of the teams in the tiebreaker are not able to compete, so we will not get to see that match today because the tiebreaker match was not originally scheduled. The tiebreaker will be scheduled for later this week, so you will get to see it. This is going to be a bonus one coming in for you guys, so stay tuned to the ClashMSTRS Twitter and Discord server to find out more information when the match will take place and where you can watch it. So we're very excited for this, and kudos to the teams today. This is exceptional to get to see a finishing off perfect war. I hope you guys enjoyed all the action. Let's take a quick look at those brackets, where we finish off here, and talk a little bit more about these standings. I mean, obviously, we are going to see some things change up. MS Esports taking that first place, but we don't know exactly where they're going to sit ultimately in the end on the leaderboard. So that's what we're going to wait for this matchup. Again, you can stay tuned to ClashMSTRS. You can see below the screen there, that is the Twitter link, the Discord link, the YouTube link, any social media you want is ClashMSTRS, with no vowels in between the masters part. So MS Esports taking the win. Queen Walkers with the second place here for now. Third place going to Vitang, and fourth place to Cutie Fen. Is this how you would have seen it, Itsu?
I think I would have seen the finals, but I would have guessed Queen Walkers definitely would win that one. But I mean, we know both teams are incredible. So overall, wasn't too surprised. Let's put it like that. But we have the leaderboard now as well updated with all of those scores. That we can see it. We're going to have this deciding match between the Black Magic and MS Esports to decide who is getting this top 4 seed. Because you can see it is such an important one, because the top 4 teams, you can see them marked on the left in yellow, that those 4 teams are going into the playoffs right away. And that's the important thing. Queen Walker Stephanie, Batang, and Cutie Fen are going to be guaranteed already in this position. But MS Esports and the Black Magic still have to fight for this. And then we have Marcus Gaming, TMXO, and Vanguard Gaming in the seeds 5 or like 6 to 8 actually for now. And then we have to wait who is going to join them, MS Esports or the Black Magic.
And we just want to talk a little bit about the LCQs that we have coming in as well. For the LCQs, registration is open. So we still need to find out who's going to be in 5th and 8th position. We'll talk about that momentarily. But the brackets for the last chance qualifiers, the LCQs, is open. You can join in, participate. We have a lot of teams that are probably getting ready to sign up and try and get their final chance to get in. It's 3 days of competition, just like you see with the qualifiers, but all matches are best of 1. Now, this is an opportunity. We're looking for 4 teams that are going to play off against the 5th and 8th position. So anyone who winds up 5th through 8th, this is why this MS Esports war, the tiebreaker war, is so important, because it will switch up some of the positions and who gets to go in the play-in stage. And your position matters, Itsu, because they get the schoolyard pick. Number 5 actually gets to pick first who from the bracket stage of the LCQs they want to face off against.
Yes, that's right. So, oh my goodness, there's going to be a lot of Clash action still to play. And I mean, on all, like, as soon as we're at the end, we're going to give away this golden ticket then for this winning team. And there are so many good teams out there. We have seen that today now in the finals, that MS Esports and Queen Walkers were going head-to-head. Crazy match overall, with 15-15 as the score line, even getting the double perfect after not seeing a perfect war for quite some time, except the one from Queen Walkers before. The entire second qualifier with the broadcast was without a perfect war. So that was surprising, but overall super excited for the next weeks, and obviously with the play-ins and everything coming up. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so get in, get registered, get ready to go, and stay tuned to Clash Masters on social media, on Discord. Join the servers, make sure you're in the know of what's going on because you're not going to want to miss out on the action. It's been an incredible day. It's been great to have you guys here. Kudos to the team for some amazing performances today. And I want to give a huge shout out to our production team, which is Tasty Bacon. He's been doing a wonderful job here. Of course, being joined by my fellow caster, Itsu, and to Rush.gg, who helps power this and keeps it going. But any last words for you, Itsu, for today?
I mean, I'm just super excited that we saw a crazy close match in the end. I think that was a really, really cool match, and I'm really, as I said, excited for the next few weeks, and I cannot wait to cast some more matches with you then again. And well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned on the social media for the Clash Masters to know what is going to happen between of the MS Esports and the Black Magic. And we're going to see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, bye-bye.